Welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting. It is February 8th, 2018. We're here in beautiful Ayer Town Hall. Let's start by confirming our agenda. Do we have any changes to what is marked?
We do not.
Excellent. Anyone have any other thoughts? I would accept a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you for not getting far enough to sharing them. Meeting minutes from last week. Why don't we save it for later?
Announcements.
Do we have any announcements?
We could have some announcements if that would help.
You waited too long.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
so
Never
let's
mind.
see. These are, but you can grab them now while we do this.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next.
All right, so last week we met we had a significant meeting on West Main, Light and Power, People Pond,
Correct the date on the front, so.
and on this third page says 7/28.
Right, that's why I have to repeat them all.
Oh my. All right, and just a reminder, spring conference is on 3/3 for everyone except Molly. Sorry. All right, I remembered these. I would accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 25th.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear. Announcements?
Well, you already got my really good announcement about the MACC conference being on March 3rd.
Love being ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Accounts payable?
We have one legal ad.
Do we get paid for it yet?
We did.
Woohoo. And who was this?
This is Mr. Mullaney.
All right. So this is for an advertisement in the Sun. I would accept a motion to pay $139.20. Really?
Because it's the Sun. And,
Yeah.
And Steve wrote a beauty of an ad.
Oh, well, there you are.
He wrote it himself.
Clearly not concise. I would accept a motion to reimburse the Sun $139.20 from the money we have been reimbursed.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Folks want to pass that down. Any others?
Mr. Callahan sent us a bill for inspecting beaver devices.
Oh,
The maintenance plan.
And when was that, Jess? Like October?
Yeah.
yeah, this says date completed 12/31. And he waited 90 days to bill? Or he waited 30 days to bill? Oh, that's interesting. All right, well, we did get our discount.
Okay.
So, there you go. All right. This is part of our maintenance plan to maintain our beaver deceivers, which all seem to be in good working order, so that's fantastic. This is for $684. Normally $855, but we get a discount for multiple sites to review. I would accept a motion to pay Beaver Solutions $684.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. And I guess this probably just comes out of the regular beaver money. I didn't even think about that. I should have asked. Did we had beaver money
we have
left?
beaver money. We had 2,000 and some odd dollars of beaver money left.
$1,320 worth of beaver money left now.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is actually for maintenance for this coming year.
Well, it says that he.
So,
You know, I didn't read it closely.
yeah.
Well, it says he completed the work by 12/31.
Yeah, which he did for the last year. This is the optional annual maintenance agreement and guarantee, 2018. That's the time of year we would do it. Have we paid in advance before?
Why is he saying his, oh,
This does look like a payment in advance of services.
no, it definitely is. I saw the 12/31 and assumed he had just finished it last year. This is 12/31 of this year.
This is a 2018 maintenance plan renewal proposal enclosed for our review, which isn't really. Oh, I guess this is the, maybe this is the maintenance plan. If it gets plugged up, we will unplug it.
Simple. I like it.
Simple, direct.
Okay. It is just about 7:15. Why don't we reopen, brand new public reopen our public hearing for DEP file number 100-0420, 217 West Main Street.
Good evening.
Evening, Cal. How are you?
Hello, everybody. Say Cal in one word.
Well, I could just blur it together.
Yeah, you
Right.
think you're both of us. Oh, that's it.
You want those?
Oh, sure,
Oh.
go right ahead there. You can see where they're stacked up.
Oh, my. So, gentlemen, when we last left off, we were discussing communications with DEP to go over their items. We received advice about a hydrogeologist, excuse me. And after reviewing the information, it seemed to make sense that the hydrogeologist wasn't necessarily going to get us anything that we didn't already know. We also did receive yesterday, right? 7th, yesterday.
What is that?
This is the memo from DPW.
Yes, yesterday.
We received the memo from the DPW yesterday. Did you folks get this?
We did, and we made those changes.
And those changes are represented on these drawings?
On those drawings, and I can walk you through them on this plan. They've been outlined on the plan above if you care to do that.
So the changes to the planning board or the changes to the conservation?
Conservation Commission.
Okay.
That were-
Why don't we go through them, only because I didn't have a chance to read these before the meeting. Might help others.
Okay, so what we've got are any changes made to the plans have been outlined in red. And you'll see that. And more so than what you're gonna have. Can we zoom on this? That's right.
By hand, you can go up and
Really?
Okay.
yeah, because it's a, maybe not when it comes in from,
Thought I remembered that.
yeah.
Okay. So I do have you've got the plans in front of you, but I do have a couple of sets that have the red, which you do. Have the red markings on them, so I can just point out the plans and tell you what it is we did. So, no changes to those sheets. So in this case, right here, we put a chain link fence on top of the wall, returning into the building here and here per DPW recommendations. This little cloud here and this one over here are the radii of the curves that Mr. Wetzel had requested. Down in this area, this large cloud here shows our water and sewer and electrical connections. So sewer connection comes down like this, works its way across, and then right in front of the lift station ties into the existing sewer main right here. The water similarly comes off here, because remember we're trying to take it off of the Ayer side rather than the Devon side, and water line comes up like this and comes into the building here. And then in between there, we've got the cable utilities, which tie in, I think roughly in this area, right at the pole right here.
Underground?
I believe so.
Power the same?
Yes, they will be.
Power the same
Yeah.
pole?
Yeah. So those are the changes I've got on this sheet. And then down below here, utility notes, notes per what Mr. Wetzel had asked for.
Let's see, so he's actually got 2 letters.
There's a
Yeah,
letter
there's one to the planning board
and
and then one to the
Conservation.
I gotcha.
Yep.
So the
And the
planning
next-
board changes include vertical granite curb, fence on top, water service, and those are your notes, force main trench detail.
We've got that as well.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so
Well,
that
I
was
thought-
theirs.
Didn't the granite curb get nixed at the planning board meeting?
No, it was approved under the conditions that I go talk it out with Mark, because that granite curb is gonna be on my property and not on the town's property. So it's really not necessary.
So what we've actually shown here is the granite curb on the town property, and then it converts to a bituminous curb on our property
Oh, okay,
for
good.
the entrance itself there.
Interesting.
We've also got a vertical granite curb detail that was added here. This is just an elevation of the wall, of the retaining wall, showing the fence being added up in that area. And then we've got a cloud down this area here. That's where we're talking about the granite curb.
Yep.
That's still up in the air.
Okay, and those were the changes on this sheet.
Nothing on, I noticed the information on the tree box filter. Is that on another plan?
It's on the,
Okay.
and on the next plan, there's no change to that sheet. So on this, trying to keep up with my clicking here, make sure I get the right page.
So this one seemed to be note 4, east infiltration basin, access manway for maintenance, mesh grates are stainless.
Yep, so this is showing the different notes up on the wall here. He asked for stainless at the entrances, stainless steel orifices and grates. There's also some notes about hardware right here, about hardware being coated or stainless. More detail here on the east infiltration basin itself. Just showing the same details that we referenced above, but in profile, or in plan view rather. And then this note here is again talking about the 12-inch orifice for stainless steel grate. And there's a note down here that says, portion of volume of tank 1 is filled to prevent infiltration within 2 feet of estimated seasonal high groundwater, is not included in the drainage model found within the stormwater management report. So you can see there's a line right here that's estimated seasonal high groundwater, and at this point it's 2 feet, and then from here to here is 2 feet, and so we're filling this tank with sand to this point so that we do not compromise the 2 foot to seasonal high groundwater, and that was not included in that volume, was not taken into account in our stormwater counts.
Okay.
When you say that volume wasn't taken into account, you mean that reduction or
No, that available storage volume was not
taken into account?
not
So,
taken.
okay.
Okay.
And did Mark also say something about a manway into those tanks?
Yes, that's what each of these stainless steel grates on top
Okay.
is.
And they're big enough.
Those are big enough to get into, yeah, because it's really not going to take much over the top.
Okay.
And then these are just, he wanted details for Ayer, typical details added to the plan for force mains, laterals, and flushing connections, so those were put on. That's more of a DPW thing than a conservation thing. And then this is the landscape plan, and I guess the discussion, a couple of discussions, let me find, here we go. On the landscape plan itself, there are notes about stabilizing 4 basin basin with 6 inches of sandy loam and stormwater basin seed mix. There's one note right there that talks about that. There's another note on this side that talks about that. This note right here So stabilize north slopes of project clearing areas with 6 inches of loam and New England seed wildflower mix. And then this note here says stabilize north slopes of project clearing area with 6 inches loam and New England wildflower mix. Note, remove trees and brush debris from all slopes at floodplain edges for conservation conditions. We got that as well. And then this cloud down here was the discussion you had on site. Retain existing trees between the right-of-way and project grading, selectively removing old and broken pavement, and adjust proposed plantings accordingly. So augmenting this with plantings as well as retaining whatever is there for vegetation.
Yeah, there's a really nice bunch of little pitch pines
Right.
growing.
Okay.
They probably will have to defend
Okay.
Or they could just duke it out, the trees.
Yeah.
And then this again is the chain link fence detail. That was referred to.
Share.
4 feet. Actually, it says 6 feet in here. It says 6 feet in this. Yeah, I thought it was 4 feet, to tell you the truth.
So just a question on that, that's got 6 feet of chain link fence, which is nuts. That's gotta get changed.
I think that was originally intended to be 4 feet. I'll check
Well,
on that.
I'm not terribly worried about the height of the fence, but your letter from zoning or planning was 4 feet, so as long as you guys meet
Yeah,
their
I think
criteria.
Kyle did this today, I think, in a mad scramble.
We weren't ever looking for a fence.
Right. So actually, I'm kind of impressed he got it all done.
I know, Mark. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted, so I still didn't see the tree box filter changes.
Okay, that's actually a separate sheet. Let me see if I can find it in here. I think I've got it on this. How do I get out of this?
Just
Anybody
if you
know?
click any of those arrow things on the sides
This?
of the screen,
Oh, boy.
and you go up 2 files,
Okay.
and you can find your drive.
There you go.
Or,
Look at that. Look at that.
wow.
Okay, so this is, Mark had asked, he was concerned because, let me talk about it the way it used to be. Tree box filter, this is the inlet from the curb, from the pavement, you're looking down on it from plan view. And so before it had this red line in here, what it had was there's as you can see here, there's an inlet that's 6 inches above the surface of the media around it. Comes in on this area, the media filters the water as it goes through. As it works its way over to here, it supports the tree and providing water budget for the tree. When it rises 6 inches up, then it goes down this drain and out. So it settles out the solids in this area, provides enough sustenance for the tree, and then when it gets too high, it goes out. Otherwise, it just infiltrates through this and eventually is taken out after it's filtered.
And the drain goes through that overflow.
And the drain goes through this overflow, yeah, through this and then through this pipe and out to our drainage basins that we've got. So, on the site.
But this is the before.
This is the before.
Yeah.
What Bill Wetzel, I had a professor in college, it was Bill Wetzel, so I'm going to call him that all the time. What Mark Wetzel wanted to do was he was concerned that we didn't have a deep sump coming into this. And actually, my thought was the whole purpose of this is to take out the sediment. And there, in the operation and maintenance plan, it clearly says remove sediment from this area 4 times a year, rake this to maintain permeability. So it's addressed in the operation and maintenance plan and really in the design of a tree box filter. That is addressed. But Kyle talked with Mark and they came up with a modification. It's still kind of in flux, but Kyle said you could extend the tank or you could just put a barrier in the tank here. And if you drop down to the one below, it would basically be a weir that's about 6 inches above this. Put a frame on top of this area with a cover so you can get into it. And there's an opening at the far side where it comes off the pavement. So there'd be like a 6-inch opening coming off the pavement. where it would then discharge into this as a sump. And it would just fill up, and your storm water would sit in the sump much like a catch basin, and when it rose to this level, it would flow over into the media and then allow this tree box filter to filter the way it normally would. So this is a compromise that they worked out that Mark kind of liked the sound of, and seemed like it was easy enough to do.
So it just slows it down.
Basically, it holds it, allows it to settle out there, and then goes into the media. So you'd be cleaning the media. When you clean it, it wouldn't be as dirty because you're going to catch most of it in the beginning of it. So I have a question in my mind whether we really need to do that or not, but Kyle offered and Mark liked it, and so it seems like that's the way it's going to go. But I don't think we need to extend the tank to do that. I think we can do it just by putting a weir across here at the opening of this inlet, moving this over a little bit, and then allowing this portion of tree box filter to function the way it should.
So,
Excuse me.
so to be clear, the weir is impermeable,
Yes, concrete, yeah.
right? So effectively, you've made 2 boxes.
Made 2 boxes.
What happens if you don't get enough water to fill up the first box?
Well, that's a problem with this concept, I guess. Then the tree is going to get whatever water lands on it in normal rain the way it would anywhere else.
But it wouldn't get the advantage of the water coming
It's
out
not
the
going to have
parking
the advantage until you get a high flow that's enough to fill this up and overflow this, and then it would.
lot. Well, think there's any way we could discuss dropping the height of the weir so that, you know, it acted like a tree box sooner?
Sure. Yeah, and I think it's pretty much in flux. I don't think they've got a final, Kyle and Mark are still talking about it, but I think if we lowered this down maybe to just slightly above or even with the level of this, it's going to help, but it's still got to fill up this entire thing before you're going to get it to spill over.
How big is that container? How big is that?
I think this,
So 4 by 5, 4 by 6,
yeah,
and then how
actually
deep?
not even that, because the whole length of the thing, of the box is 7 feet, I think, so it's probably 3 feet. It's probably 3 feet by whatever the width is there, 5 feet.
Yeah, and I can't read this. What's this
It
depth?
says 4 by 5, yeah, okay, it says 4 by 5 on this.
Do you know what this depth is? I don't think that's my eyes. I think it's fuzzy.
Yeah, I don't think it's 30 inches. So it's 30 inch. I mean, it's, it's
So that's going to fill up reasonably quick.
I would think so. I think anything other than, if you just get a shower or something, it's not going to fill up. But if you get a half an inch of rain, I'm sure it's going to be flowing with that. You're going to have plenty, because there's enough on here to do it. I'm a little concerned with the idea that you're not going to get as much water to this tree as you would under a regular tree box filter design. As I said, in my opinion, this is not necessary, because I think tree box filters in the operation and maintenance plan are designed for a specific purpose, and they work well. And I don't think you need to do something like this, especially where you're in a parking lot. It's not like you're out on the main road someplace.
Right.
So, you're controlling the amount of sanding you can do. You can sweep the parking lot yourself to keep it from really transmitting a lot of that. So I'm not thrilled with the idea, but it's what Mark wanted to see. And I think part of it is, I think Mark has a natural bias against BMPs that require maintenance. Understandable.
Well, I think he's seen them not
Understandably,
be maintained, yeah.
So I think that's what he's getting at, and he's
Yeah.
figuring this is a lot easier to clean out than it is to clean this off and rake it. I'm not sure it's easier, but it's certainly going to be more effective in the initial dropping of the sediment. So,
Well, maybe we just really need to think about the plant that goes in that tree box filter. It needs to be adaptable.
right, and think about it. You're going to have a sandy soil. You've got a tree planted in the sandy soil, just like the sandy soil around it.
Yeah.
It's going to get the same amount of rain that anything else is going to get.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes it's
do you
gonna
really
be wet,
need a
sometimes
lot
it's
of
gonna
extra
be
water?
dry.
I don't know, So I think as long as you do that, as long as it's a reasonably tolerant tree, then I think you'd probably be fine with it.
Lots of trees in Cambridge, huge trees, there's concrete and brick.
Great Yeah.
Right.
No soil nationwide.
And if this cuts down on the maintenance, that would be good.
Yeah, and probably will. I expect it would. I mean, one thing I was thinking is we might want to make this opening a little bit smaller. We might want to go 3 feet wide with the opening to get a little more of this and cut down the size of this a little bit. So that's a suggestion I would make. I think that might get us where we want to go, so to fill up relatively quickly.
So you guys were red maples and what is
Linden.
Tilia cordata?
Tilia?
Tilia cordata?
Yeah, basswood, I think.
Oh,
Is that out front, Phil, or in the tree box?
well, I'm trying to figure that out.
I think there's some tilias out front, maybe.
So shrubs, trees.
Shrubs.
Oh, it's a little leaf linden.
I think
Yeah,
that's it.
a leaf
Sounds like sounds like a name our president would give to it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's down the. So I saw the planting list, but down the bottom it says tee box planting schedule: buttonbush, bayberry, and dwarf lilac.
These three.
Well, we could work out that detail.
So it sounds like your shrubs in the tree boxes.
Or as approved by the Conservation Commission,
Is it just the two?
Yeah.
because those are very different types of
Yes, they are.
shrubs.
That's very good.
Buttonbush likes to be soaked and submerged,
water.
and
Yeah.
Bayberry.
bayberries can be
Dry.
in a desert. Yeah. That's what we find in the high dunes of
Yes.
sandy soils of Cape
Right.
Cod.
What about the dwarf lilac?
It's not even a native.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they don't grow
landscape.
very well.
Yeah.
We can that's the least of our concerns. We can
So-
pick the perfect plant.
Yeah, we may just want to put bayberries in there.
Red maple. might
Red
be
maple, yeah.
Pretty good. It's a tree for that. It's good.
We've shown red maple elsewhere on the site.
Yeah.
so
Yeah. How about 2 sugar maples back there?
That's good to me.
Pretty, they can handle all sorts of water and dry at the same time. And
Yeah, red
pretty
maple.
hardy.
Red maple could too.
There's already red maple on it, so I think that should.
Well, okay.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do.
So we have reviewed the notes that the DPW provided to you. You've also explained the other changes that you made to the plans based on your comments with the planning board and the 4-foot, not 6-foot fence. We have a landscape maintenance plan, which I read through quickly and just indicates cleaning, etc. Okay. Let's see.
Surety was something that Mr. Wetzel had talked about with the planning board, and I think that has gone away, is my understanding from talking to Kyle about it. This is the stormwater 1M plan is adequate. He wanted $850 a year, but I think because it's private property and the town has no responsibility for any maintenance on that, there's no need for any surety.
And it seems odd.
Yeah, because the town's not gonna take responsibility for cleaning this site or,
Why would you pay the town to not clean up something?
right, exactly.
I think it did go away.
Yeah.
As well.
I think Mark's concern was that
Did
if
you
it
continue to be
doesn't
surprised?
get taken care of privately and stops functioning as a stormwater system, then somebody needs to go clean it up.
Well, I
So-
think that's true, but you've also got a going commercial concern that's owned by a private owner who could be compelled to take care of it.
I guess at the end of the day, I don't think we've ever done anything like that, because once it's on the private landowner's property, it's up to the private landowner, and if there's a problem, then we make it known to the private landowner anyway, so. And the other thing is that that would typically be something the planning board would have done, so.
I think they tried.
But I also think with the modifications we made to that, the amount of maintenance that's gonna be
Is-
required is less.
Yes.
So I think that would be an
Yep.
improvement.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and we have the ability to pop by during the year and see how it's panning out, see how it's working. Okay, so right now, thanks, George. So we have covered the latest developments, and so just briefly to talk again about discussion with DEP. So there were the emails back and forth, and I'd be happy to entertain another discussion, but it didn't make sense to me. The hydrogeologist wasn't going to tell me anything I couldn't tell from standing there, and that was just my only thought.
Right, I think DEP's point was we might find out why what's happening is happening, but it's not going to change what's happening.
It's not going to change anything.
Right.
Right. So we can find out why the stream is different, but it doesn't. It's not going to change any of our outcomes. And
Right.
also, I don't know that there's any worth in doing so. I don't know there's anything to gain.
And it's not an easy thing to do either. And you already know what's going on upstream. We know it's affecting it upstream. So this would be a possibility there's something additionally affecting it downstream based on the well. And I think no matter what happens downstream with the well, what's happening upstream is happening. It's a permanent condition. So
No,
it really seems like it would be not terribly useful.
I think the upstream is the most significant condition, and it makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
especially based on walking past it for 8 years and noticing that now it runs dry in the summer and it didn't used to. So there you go.
Right.
So, do you have any further comments or Jess? Bonnie?
I just have a couple questions. So the trees along the road, the trees that you plant along the road,
Can you go to that,
they won't be impacted
just for
by...
ease? Sorry, it just makes more
It's
sense.
Okay, yeah.
All right, we got to do this again. Getting good at it.
You are getting good at it.
This is Rev 3. That's the one I want. And it's this one.
Yeah, so right,
So
Yeah.
these trees.
yeah, so they won't be impacted by, snow, plow, big,
Well, they're not going to be able to snowplow into that area. No,
no, okay.
that can't,
So it's
because
not-
you just wipe out all your landscaping. It'd be no point.
I know, so where's the edge of the road?
So this is the edge of the parking. I think the road is. I have to look at a plan in front of me.
Well, Cal's looking. Did you see the snow storage at the back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that, I mean, that's for.
So the edge of the road is right where.
Driveway.
Right.
and The area, but I'm worried about, because I know, I don't plant right along the road, because I know that my shrubs that I plant will be damaged every year.
Well, so here's an interesting point. You were talking about,
This is the edge of the road out here. So you're ways out.
and weren't we talking about the shrubs that were in this area?
Yeah,
So if those are the way they are,
Yeah.
the new plantings would be ostensibly far enough back.
And the idea is the plow will come in and it'll work this way.
okay.
Plow this way to get it back and use this area rather than away from this. So.
Yeah.
And you're about 10 feet off the edge of the road from the property line right
Okay, so
here.
that's 10, all right, I just was
So you've got some.
wondering
Yeah,
where
that's a good
the
question.
edge
You got some
was.
room, though, yeah.
And then the big pine trees in the back, those stay? Those big pine trees?
I wasn't on your sidewalk with you, so I'm not sure what.
I
Those
think-
little big ones in the back.
Well, this is the
If it's
clearing.
off area, without a doubt, they're gonna stay unless they're dead.
Yeah, this is the clearing
They're
limit.
alive, they're
Yep.
Then
nice
they stay
big
there.
pine
I
trees.
got no reason to come
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, so that's the clearing limit. Beyond that, there's nothing being cut.
Well, see where this, so what you may remember from the walk. So we talked about basically where the snow storage area is in that area to the right where we have to break the grade.
Yeah,
There were
but-
some trees there, but if you remember,
Yeah,
there were,
there's,
the trees there were, they weren't in great shape. They didn't have good shape to them anyway. It wasn't even like you could thin them and pick 3.
yeah, so there was a level, and then there was
Right.
a lot of shrub, dead
But then
shrub, dead.
you went back from there into where the tree
Yeah.
line is shown, and that's where those big pine trees were.
Yeah,
They were
down
behind it.
back, yeah, back in there.
So they were all outside of the
Okay.
clearing area that we discussed on the
Right,
front.
okay.
Because remember how we said, sometimes you show up and you say, well, what's the limit of clearing? And you
Yep,
say,
yep.
that's okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just making sure that it wasn't, I had forgotten sort of where
Yep.
they were in reference to.
There's spectacular pitch pine
map.
down in there on the flat that,
Yeah.
it's just
Um,
stunning.
yeah. I know. And then what about, NPDES.
NIPD's.
NIPD's.
The NIPD's.
Yeah, this
Nifty
is an
stormwater.
Yeah, it's an acre impact, so we'd have to file.
To file that as well.
Which is not a difficult thing to do.
All right, right.
So you will be following that? Okay.
Have you ever been rejected for one of those?
No. It's not a yes, you can do it, no, you can't. It's just a notification to them online
That you're doing?
that we're doing it.
Okay.
And then they issue a number to go with it. You know, if they show up on site, you've got to have a stormwater pollution prevention plan prepared, which we'll do.
Put it right next to our sign. Okay. Anything more? John? Okay. Is there anyone here tonight who is here to speak on this behalf, or on regard to this, on this site? Okay. So at this point, based on our site walk, our thorough review of the plans, our multi-part discussion of the stream, and the 4-day dry period that was documented by the applicant, I would entertain a motion to begin the process to issue the order of conditions for notice of intent 100-0420.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you said.
I was getting ready.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Get your card. Thank you. So we're going to continue this public hearing for the discussion points of the items under the order of conditions to our next public hearing, which is February 22nd.
March 8th, because we have Judy Schmidt's coming.
Oh, on March
We
22nd.
have that meeting
Reserved.
reserved.
So we'd like to continue this to March 8th. Is that acceptable?
Just explain to me why, Bill. You're gonna give me an order of conditions the next week or two? correct?
Well, so what would happen is that you folks would go back and forth over the boilerplate conditions for the order conditions, and then at the next meeting, potentially there might be some to discuss. We've already booked our 22nd meeting full. That's what Joanne's
But
referencing.
we're gonna see the conditions way ahead of time. so
Oh,
we're
of
gonna
course.
be prepared.
Oh, yeah. 'cause
Oh, yeah,
we
no,
work
the-
them out. We
The
don't-
process starts basically next week.
I'll type them for you if you want.
But that's very kind. But we haven't had any issue with the exchange of information.
Not at all.
It goes quick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So
Thank you
we'll
very
continue
much.
this public meeting until
And then
March
we get
8th.
that last page.
Second.
No. So we started to talk about multiple things. So there's a motion to continue the public hearing to March 2nd. John seconded it. All in favor say aye. Oh, sorry, March 8th. March 8th. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. We'll see you folks on the 8th.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's okay.
All right.
I think you're right.
Thank you for reminding me about the 8th.
Oh, I've been guarding that
Coming
one.
on the 22nd.
Well, this was supposed to be guarded. Okay. Let's, okay. Let's open our public hearing, DEP file number 100-0421 for 12 Patriot Way.
Where would you like to be, Bill?
Right there,
Right here?
Steve.
Okay.
Right there.
I do have a check for you.
Thank you.
Additional copies you said.
Yes.
2 or 3?
I said 2, but I'll take 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any cards?
Yes. John, I don't think you have this.
DP number?
I got that.
I have.
Do you have this?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take one for now.
Well, you can take one for now.
Thank you.
Sorry, I kind of think you got this. Did you not get it to me last? Oh, yeah, maybe. Yep, that might be it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, Steve Sears from David Ross Associates. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Thomas DePietro, who would like to build a garage addition to his house at 12 Patriot Way. we have any abutters for paper in here? So I don't have to. If you folks recall, we did a certificate of compliance, I think in the spring of last year.
It was.
For John Giamo.
Yep.
And I actually reflagged the wetlands because all the blue tags were gone. They vegetated wetland BBW is actually just a little bit closer here. There's some growth right along the toe of that slope there. Compared to the original flagging that was done several years ago. I want to say like 12 years ago or more.
It was.
That was actually over in here, but we tucked it in a little closer right at the toe of the slope where all the vegetation's growing here now. These are the pine trees that were behind the house. Mr. DePietro is actually building a 14 by 22 single car garage, right? Approximately 308 square feet total, and it's going to be built on what is already paved right now, paved driveway. So there'll be no vegetation removal or anything like that. We do show a couple slight grading here on the lawn area, just to so it just doesn't drop right off. And plus, when they do their work in here, they'll probably have to get machines around and stuff like that. So basically, the new garage is going to be set right on top of the paved driveway that's there now. They'll dig that up. We show the proposed siltation barrier encompassed right around here, right to the back of the property. So we have a 35-foot offset from the bordering vegetated wetlands to the closest corner of the garage. And that's about it. It's just kind of a we're not within the flood zone, natural heritage, or anything like that. So,
Say 35 feet to the garage or to the
to the edge
to
of
the buffer to the
edge of the garage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the fill and grading is probably about 30 feet. The edge of work area. Limited disturbance. I have a scale. Do you want a scale?
I just did it with my pen. It's about 20.
That's probably better than a scale. So that's about it. That's about it. We are within the buffer zone, and that's basically why we're here tonight. And if you have any questions?
Okay. Slab or full foundation?
Slab.
Okay. So minimal excavation and then just clean up the grades.
Right.
Easy stuff. George, do you have any questions?
The gutters, roof gutters?
Actually,
No, the property does not have any gutters other than.
okay, yeah, so it'll just be a pitched roof with drainage right on the,
So have you talked to the building inspector?
I have not. Have you talked to the building inspector? No.
Proposed contractor started to talk to him, and then we started this process, so I'm not sure where they left off.
Okay. The only reason I bring it up is on an application we saw last, was it last summer, fall? During one of the applications, the applicant came and we used the standard stone beside the house for drip for where the gutters, where there were no gutters, where the pitch of the roof ran off. And the new building inspector has concerns about that with regard to a foundation. Now, I don't know if he has issues with that with regard to a slab on grade with a garage, but you may just want to talk to him before you complete this, only because he may say that you need to do gutters and a dry well or something, or gutters and a rain garden, as opposed to just letting the water drip off the roof. It's just been a requirement that he's been instituting, and when you think about it, it is good. It gets the water away from the house. It's appropriate. But it's just not something everyone expects to do, and so you might just want to talk to him and find out what his thoughts are on it. Because otherwise you might find yourself building something different than was approved, and that's always pesky. So, and you
That's a
also...
good point. And it might be, with a slab, it may be no concern.
It may be no concern, but probably a good thing to address first rather than later.
Okay.
Thank you. Where are you planning to keep the soils? You're going to pull the pavement out, pavement off-site?
I believe, yeah,
The big concrete that's there now will be removed by the contractor and replaced with a typical concrete slab.
Yep. All right, and won't be too much material.
no.
Okay. So it seems like the only thing that we are up for is a site walk. And I know we just had one, but we do have a habit.
Well, it looks like we have, between this and the next two, we probably have a few sidewalks coming up. Or a few things that will need sidewalks.
Right. I cannot do this weekend. I don't know if folks are around on the 17th. Yes.
Don't know.
Is that the 3-day weekend?
Yes. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
17?
For what?
President's Day.
Must be nice.
Because if that's the case, I probably won't.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, there's
Okay.
a few of us that can't, we should. Particularly because we have a couple of the others, the Peroni Park, if we do one at the same time.
All right, well, the only thing is that puts us off to the 24th. And
What's your schedule as far as?
Whatever's available for you
Uh,
people. Saturday's gonna be 50.
yeah, which is unfortunately part of why I'm not going to be here.
I could probably do the 7th. It's going to be Saturday morning, right?
It's a Saturday morning, and it's a super easy one to walk if you wanted to check a look at it.
I could just go.
You can actually see it from the street.
Yeah. And like I say, where the garage is going now, it's actually paved, right?
Okay.
It's all paved right there, so.
Easy.
All right, but that addresses this one, not necessarily others. Okay. So why don't we just say the 17th at 9 a.m., and we'll move on from there. Does that work for everybody? 17th at 9 a.m.? All right. And this is
Number 12,
number 12, Patriot Way.
Patriot Way, number 12. And his name's Tom.
No, we met Tom. We met Tom during our walk before. It was very nice.
And he did have a nice flag out, hanging out in front.
You did?
They're still there.
Patriot, yeah.
That's much like the problems with the Giants. That's just never to be spoken about again. Okay, so based on our discussion, we will look forward to seeing you on the 12th. On the 17th. Would you please double check with the building inspector if you can, so that you can have that information before we finalize the plans. It'd be super simple to add then, and we don't miss anything.
Very good. All right.
Thank you
very
so
for your
much.
time.
Oh, go ahead.
Motion to continue.
I got it. I do this all the time.
Before anybody.
I would accept a motion to continue this notice of intent 100-0421 to our next meeting. Oh, to our meeting, actually, that's right. To our meeting on March 8th.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in 2 Saturdays.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Sidewalk 17th. Okay. Let's open our public hearing for a RDA, request for amendment, not an RDA, request for amendment of an order of conditions for 138 Littleton Road. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Conservation Commission. Got an easel tonight. Thought it might make it a little bit easier.
You don't want to... No flash drive? Sure, it'll give us the chance to talk about the difference between flash drive, jump stick,
Thumb drive.
all the different names. Just keeps on coming.
There we go.
Were you part of this when we saw Brent for this? Brent Ruthier?
No.
Okay. Did you know he had thought about buying this lot?
I had heard that, but I didn't have any involvement with him on it.
We had to break him into some of the things that you're going to discuss tonight.
Okay.
You can get that to them. There you go.
We will start with what is presently approved.
Oh, if I may, and I think it was a smart idea what Mr. Sears did. Are there any abutters here to be here for this? Wonderful, wonderful.
Come on up.
Yeah, you might do better to sit up front there so you can see.
Everybody can see. Okay, just for some orientation, are you on Littleton Road?
Yes.
Okay. You must be across the street.
139.
139. Okay. To begin with some housekeeping, that's the certificates of mailing.
Thank you. And I have to check.
Okay, so you have to check. And
Excellent.
each member of the Conservation Commission should have this packet. The picture that you're looking at here, very similar to what you see in your packet. So
Do you want a spare?
try to orient it so our neighbors can see what's happening here.
Yeah.
Joanne, I think John didn't get mine.
I would have given it to you last time.
Probably have it at home.
It's crucial that you bring your documents from home. It's just only me that forgets every time. I don't eat. What do you want me to do?
Okay. We're here tonight to discuss an amendment to an existing order of conditions.
Right.
So right now, an order of conditions exists for the construction of this house at 138 Littleton Road. The order of conditions, as mentioned in the packet, was first issued June 9th, 2005. The order was renewed by the commission effective June 9th, 2008. That order extension, which is typically only 3 years, actually was extended to 7 years automatically because the Permit Extension Act of the state legislature granted 4-year extension for any permit that existed during a period of time from August of 2008 to August of 2012. In 2015, the Conservation Commission issued another 3-year extension to this permit. So this order of conditions remains valid until June 9th, 2018, so 4 months from now. As shown on this plan, this was proposing a house and a driveway connecting to Littleton Road, and it proposed water and sewer line utilities running along the shoulder of Littleton Road and tying into sewer and water mains within Hemlock Drive, opposite the Littleton Line Apartments. What you see shown in this olive-colored green is the effective location of watering vegetated wetlands for the purposes of this order of conditions. And this is the 100-foot buffer zone line with respect to that. We have consulted with DEP, and DEP has confirmed to us that even though this wetland line dates back many, many years, as long as an order of condition continues to be validated by extensions, that wetland line remains valid for purposes of that order of conditions. Sorry, Steve. Bill, all I was pointing out was that we consulted with DEP, and DEP has indicated to us that any wetland line that is the basis of an order of conditions remains the effective wetland line for that order for the life of that order. So any extension given to that order, that wetland line remains.
So even if it markedly changes,
Even
it
if
doesn't
it
matter.
markedly changes, it doesn't matter.
So by that thinking, then even if it changed by 50 feet and it encompassed now the house lot, you could build in that area.
Yes,
Huh.
yes.
That doesn't seem very smart.
We first encountered this on another site in Ayer in 2005, and Marty Jelonsky from DEP consulted with DEP's counsel and came back with that reply.
Wow.
Now,
That's great.
we're looking at reality, and we're saying, in 2018, we now know that what you see shaded in yellow and what you see shaded in beige over here is now bordering vegetated wetland. So we said, okay, our choice is either we go letter of the law and build per our order of conditions, or we come back to the commission and say, let's work together and find a way to reflect the fact that there is more wetlands out here, and can we find a solution that will satisfy everybody. So what we've proposed to do for an amendment is, looking at this same location, would be to shift the house by expanding the lot. So the lot would grow all the way over to the Littleton town line over here. Move the house beyond the wetland area over here. Keep the driveway coming in this general area, because based on Mass DOT concerns, the gradient of the slope over here blocks the site view the further east that you go. So they'd really like to see the driveway kept over here.
Right.
And just put in a driveway crossing over here with a replication area of 2:1 in this little pocket of upland that wraps around the same wetland system. And we would also eliminate any work all along this wetland area over here by bringing in the utility connections cross-country outside of the buffer zone up along a common property line between lots 68 and 69 on Woodland Way out to the new utilities. It's about a 900-foot cross-country trek with the utilities, but it would be protecting the wetlands along this area, which would be a very difficult construction under the existing order.
Well, that's significant. Who owns that property?
Both properties are still presently owned by Ridgeview Realty Trust.
Okay.
And under the terms of an agreement between Ridgeview Realty Trust and the town of Ayer, any portion of this parcel, it was called parcel D to begin with, that is not used for the purposes of Lot O gets deeded to the town of Ayer. Now, the deed hasn't occurred yet, so the shape of Lot O can still be adjusted until that is finalized.
Interesting. Okay. Are you doing any work in the street at all, other than the curb cut?
No work in the street at all.
Okay. All right. George, do you have any questions for Steve?
No.
Jess?
You know, I'd like to see it all on the sidewalk.
The crossing, the driveway crossing, how,
There would be a culvert pipe placed underneath the driveway to maintain flow from the upstream portion of the wetland to the portion of the wetland that just dies off as it approaches the street.
where does it, so it dies off?
It dies off.
It doesn't go
There's
anywhere?
no continuous flow into another drainage system. It's very similar to a lot of the other finger-like wetlands that have occurred elsewhere along this hill.
Yeah. So what would happen, I'm just saying hypothetically, if that wetland, increases in size? Would it encompass the driveway and?
If the driveway is constructed, and this shows you a better scale here.
Careful, don't lose your other one.
Once the driveway is constructed, we're proposing some boulder retaining walls over here to elevate it a little bit and run a drain line underneath the driveway. So the wetland would be unlikely to extend beyond these retaining walls on either side.
So
We would be putting some gravel underneath the driveway as a base for the driveway. So there would not be the wetland soil to support wetland vegetation in the immediate vicinity of the driveway.
And the driveway will be raised, it'll be a raised driveway?
Raised driveway. And Deisheng Wang has prepared a wetland replication report plan, which should be in the middle of your packet, where he's identified the plants that are in the area of the proposed crossing that he would like to transplant into the proposed replication area.
Transplant,
as well as some new plantings, but he's identified certain plants that can be transplanted.
So that replication area, is there removal of plants and vegetation?
Some upland vegetation would be removed and upland soil removed, and the wetland soil would be removed from the crossing area and moved up to the replication area, similar to what was done on Woodland Way for that wetland crossing.
What's the, like, percentage effectiveness, or does it, I mean, how, does it work well when you do
It has worked,
replication like that?
it has worked very well on particularly on the sites that Dr. Wing monitors. He's got a good track record and a good eye for identifying which plants are going to make it and which ones aren't. But it's any wetland replication through an order of conditions process is subject to 2 years of monitoring afterward, and any species, any plantings that don't make it need to be replaced and continue to be monitored.
Good. John?
No.
Okay. So, one of the places that we had some discomfort, if you will, was the culvert pipe over on the end of the one across from Littleton Line. I always mess up the Jerry.
Well,
And-
what, 59,
Yeah.
58, 59.
And one of the issues was the grade of the wall of the sides of the driveway as they went down into where the culvert was. And it was a concern to Jerry because he didn't know how to treat it, and it was a concern to us because we told him any work he'd do there, it was such a steep slope he'd have to basically do by hand. What are you planning to do to treat the sides of the driveway as they go down to the culvert?
This area isn't quite as steep as that area over there. We're proposing just a grass slope down on either side, a grass slope above and below the retaining wall on either side.
And what's the slope?
The slope will be 3-to-1 slope,
Okay,
above and below the retaining wall.
okay. Because I don't think that's what Jerry has
No.
today. Okay. And I don't know if it was supposed to be 3-to-1, it probably was, but it certainly didn't end there.
And that, as I recall, was a house that ended up not where it was supposed to be located.
There were multiple issues. Okay. I'll be interested to see the plantings. And if no one has anything else, do you folks have any questions?
Well, my concern was where you were gonna bring everything, but now we've moved it significantly, so we're good.
Okay. Thank you. I think what I'd like to see, just two very specific items. Obviously, for the site walk, we'd want to see where the house corners were. And we'd want an idea of where the driveway was going to be. Maybe a center stakes.
Center stakes, sure.
And then if you could also just give us a couple of marks up on the top where the replication area is going to be. That would be swell. Miss anything?
Okay.
Sure, a good time of year to do this.
It does seem like a good time of year. Does it work?
Yeah. Well, that area, as you know, has some very thick vegetation from previous walks, so
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit easier this time of year.
I think the secret, and so we had this discussion when we had the walk with Calvin and those guys. We were able to see what we needed to see on their walk. As long as we can see what we need to see on this walk, it'll be great. As I'm sure you understand, if we get a foot of snow just before it happens, it kind of kills things. So it'll be very weather.
Even tall stakes get buried in that.
I don't want to step on one. It'll just be very weather dependent on whether we can figure out what we need to figure out or not. So, do you have? And so I remember looking on this. I don't remember if there was a full size plan. Did you determine where you were going to put soil, what you were going to do with gutters, that kind of thing?
We've got our, if you look on this plan here, we've got our stockpiles located here and here, and we've got temporary sediment basins here, here, and here, and just open flow on the gutters.
So, do you remember what we were talking about before?
Yeah, I know where Charlie's going.
Okay, so open flow on the gutters, as in you're going to challenge Charlie, or open flow?
We're not going to challenge Charlie. No, we're not proposing any trenches along the drip line. Because
I see.
I know who's going there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you're just going to let the gutters run?
Let the gutters run, yeah.
No dry well, anything?
Downspouts discharging away from the house.
Great. Okay. Okay. All right. And obviously we don't have anything else. I can't see anything else to be worried about today. Okay. So Are you free on the 17th for a sidewalk?
Yes, I am.
Well-
Is this what we do? Will we have everybody that we need to have?
Well, it looked like we'll have everybody, possibly with the exception of Joanne, which I'll feel bad. But
Well,
Joanne can go by during the week as well.
Because the stakes will be there, and I can figure it out.
And if the stakes are there before the 17th, I'll let Joanne know she can get the sneak peek.
The preview. Perfect.
Okay. And so this is Littleton Road. Any thoughts on where we should park, since I'm guessing...
I recommend parking on Hemlock,
On Hemlock.
And then walking along the shoulder of Littleton.
Wearing fluorescent colors.
Yeah.
Okay. Littleton Road, park on Hemlock.
Because you're opposing
10
the
a.m.?
traffic when you walk on that shoulder too, so you'll see the cars coming at you.
Just means the last thing that goes through your mind is... Okay. So, unless there's anything further, I would accept a motion to...
Do you have time on the 17th?
Oh, 10.
Okay.
Because the other one's at 9, 10, that just makes sure we're not late. I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing. Obviously, we're, as we talked about, we're backed up on the 22nd, but continue this public hearing to March 8th.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. We'll see you on the 17th. Did it finally fall? Joanne,
Thanks for coming.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
I know I have one at home.
Yes, you do.
Okay. All right. Let's open our public hearing for DEP file number to be determined. Did you guys get a DEP file number yet?
I did not see one on there
Not
today.
lucky enough, huh?
No?
So this is an NOI for Bly Street by the Air Parks Department. Beautiful Peroni Park.
Thank you. Yeah, yep.
Why are there two in there?
Oh, because we have meetings and people just forget. They put their thing in there and they walk away.
Oh my.
Here they are.
Huh.
Did you get the notes?
They'd signed a non-disclosure. You probably remembered to take it.
I did.
So just some handouts for you.
Ah. So first, good evening. All right. And you are?
Hello, good evening. Andrea Tavares from Land Tech Consultants.
And Dan Vincenzo, you know me, town engineer, Air DPW.
Just in case.
How's everyone doing?
Sure. I'm Jeff Thomas, Air Parks Director.
And Eric Hebert, Parks Commissioner.
Parks Commissioner?
Yes.
Technically Vice Chairman.
You don't have to do that, Jeff. It's okay.
After you go, just going to keep going.
So we're before you tonight for a notice of intent for a perimeter path around Peroni Park. Land Tech went out and did the existing conditions survey via a drone survey. We created the conceptual plan working with the town and have come up with a pathway that's just about a half mile in length, total length. It's 5 feet wide and is completely ADA accessible. So we are meeting the requirements for material for ADA and grading slope. So Jeff, do you want to talk about how this project came to be, and then we can get into the actual plan?
Certainly. Just to recap for the commission members who may or may not have a total scope of what this project is. This has been something that's been in the works for the Parks Department for over 20 years. It's been something that's been part of the master plan for the last couple sets, and something that we've been tripped up a little bit. Is it possible for you to put on the one display? As you can see, this is a conceptual plan of the perimeter path, and most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with Prony Park. If you look at the top right area there, that's the Housing Authority area up there. And one of our things that we've always been tripped up on with this project is the idea of how to put a path between, just on that hill at the bottom of the Housing Authority area. So that's been, for a number of reasons that we really don't need to get into today, because the path isn't actually going to be encumbering that area. It's been something that's been tripping us up to get this project started. So at one point, the commission decided that let's just go ahead with the parts of the perimeter path that we think that we can get done at a reasonable cost and go forward from there. So that's where we went before a town meeting last year to just put forth this project, which is a path network more than a perimeter path around the park. We still consider it a perimeter path because it does fulfill that function, although we won't have a path to have that one area below the Housing Authority area there. But it does fulfill all the other requirements. You can see the lines that define the path that we hope to put in, and then there's a walkway on the top left there that is already in place, that was put in there for handicap accessibility about 15 years ago. So anyway, this project's been in our mind for some time to do, and we finally decided to go ahead with this. And the project that we've put in place for now was two parts. One was the design of this, and to engineer it and put it together so that we could actually build what's put up here. And the second part was also to engineer that section that isn't listed here at the bottom of the Housing Authority hill to see ways that we might be able to do that. Again, that's just in case, for discussion, or not necessarily discussion tonight about what we're trying to do, but just to give you an idea of what we're aiming for eventually to get to. When we finally did get our the passage at town meeting to go ahead with this project, Land Tech was hired. They got the bid to go forward with this for $15,000 for development of this project, and development of a plan for that Housing Authority hill. So that's where we're at right now. We've had a lot of great assist from the town DPW and Dan, and we really appreciate all that you've done with that for us. It's been a nice partnership, and I'm going to turn it over to Andrea.
Sure. So the path itself starts up on this existing walkway, and it comes down along the back of the dugout for the baseball. And comes down, there's two rather large trees in this area, but the path will come down in between. There's a little bit of a downhill here, so that's why you see this section of the path is actually coming up very slowly along the edge of that hill. And we are doing a series of about 5% ramp, so it's a 20-foot long, 5% grade sections with a 5-foot level area to get up that slope. So you'll see for this area, we kind of start going up that hill little by little until we finally get to the top up in this area. This dashed blue line here, it's a little bit hard to see. This is actually the floodplain line. So we are within floodplain in this area, and we are filling within the floodplain. There is another small area over in here, which we'll get to. That's the same situation where we're coming up a hill, we're keeping below 5% in grade, and we are filling within the floodplain. So on the site plans that were submitted, our grading plan reflects some compensatory flood storage in this area here, where we are compensating for the fill within the floodplain that we're proposing within this area, and again over in here. So we are compensating on a elevation to elevation basis in a 1-to-1 ratio. So we were able to provide all of the flood storage required. there is a hill in this area, so we're basically cutting into this hill and moving the hill back a bit. As we come down the ramp along the hill past the basketball court, we go behind this other baseball field. We continue down towards Grove Pond. And what we have here are 3 bench areas that we're proposing, kind of selectively located to be the best view of the pond. There are, as you know, several mature trees along here. There's a little grove of birch trees down in here. We have selected those areas as nice little sitting bench areas for overlooks towards the pond. So as we move along the pond with the pathway, we are getting into the closest areas to the flagged wetlands, which is really this area and through here. There is an existing fence for this baseball field that runs along here. There is a bench too for the players. So the closest area that the pathway is to the wetlands is in this area, and that's 3.5 feet from the outer edge of the path to the edge of flagged wetland, which is the top of the bank. We continue to move along, and then we make a turn up and start making our way up the hill to the back of the play area, where we come up. And again, this is another section of ramp. So we'll have a 20-foot section up to a 5-foot flat area. There's a few of those kind of areas in through here to get up in grade. And then we run along the side of the play area and the back of the dugout and the bleachers, and we connect into a new section of path running along the parking area, which doesn't currently exist right now. So right now, all that's there is just the parking area with no real walkway once you park and enter the playing area in the park. There's no real formal pathway. So we are making a little bit larger of a paved area in through here. The path will continue up along the edge of parking, and then it will also continue off to the right as well, and continue down along the back of the softball field and up and around. And as Jeff said, this pathway is something that, this hill is something that we're currently looking into and trying to come up with a solution to this hill.
So it looks like your major jurisdictional area is down on this bottom corner, and then you kind of nip into it over here.
Yes.
On the top. Okay. And what's the grade on that side over there? Do you know? Does that drop off or?
This is relatively flat in here. All the grades for the whole park itself kind of come down towards the pond and towards the abutting property. So we are trying to match the existing grade as much as possible. So whatever the existing grade is, we are matching. So really the only areas where we're changing the grade of what's out there currently is with the 2 ramp areas. So in here and over on this side.
Wasn't there a project, Scout came to us? Wasn't there a proposed project to do something over here?
There was. That wooded area there, you really can't see it, but
Yeah.
it's been cleaned out, and picnic area was created.
That's right.
And a camping area was created.
Right.
With a little fire pit. It's beautiful. For anyone who's hasn't seen it yet, it's really worth going down to. It's if you were like an old timer and you've been around for 20 more years and saw what was there, you couldn't see what was there, but now it's actually something that is a nice open area that's usable for a number of things.
It's a camping area?
Slightly camping. We can grant groups permission to do an overnight camp there. So the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts have been utilizing it.
So, I do remember all these areas from many years of standing on the side of watching games. So, are you within the Zone 2 of the well or the Zone 1 of the well?
No, we are in the zone
Two.
two. Zone
Yeah.
2, the whole area is mapped as zone 2, I
Yes.
believe.
Okay. I'm assuming there's nothing specific to that for Zone 2. It was only Zone 1, right?
It's what?
Nothing
Yeah.
specific for Zone 2. Nothing specific that I have to do for.
No, not that I know.
I'd just rather bring it up now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, with regard to the path, you said ADA compliant materials. What does that mean?
So to be ADA compliant, it needs to have a smooth surface. So we're proposing the entire pathway to be bituminous concrete. We had looked at other materials, such as mulch, other materials just to keep the cost down of
Mhm.
construction. And what we found were other materials were not compliant with the regulations of ADA. So really the only materials that would be compliant are pavement, concrete, some type of stabilized stone dust, which acts like concrete. So really anything that's smooth is what's compliant. So we're looking at having a paved pathway.
So I remember when I unfortunately wasn't able to go that day. I actually popped in and I saw Joanne on the day she came before. She walked it with you guys, and you froze her to death, which
Yes.
was just mean.
We were just so cold. It was so cold.
One of the thoughts that occurred to me that day, and I'm sorry I didn't bring it up sooner, was I've seen those for certain places where driveways aren't allowed to be impermeable, and it's a plastic stabilizing material that then gets filled with stones and stone dust. Would something like that be ADA compliant? Are you familiar with the product?
I'm not, no.
So they use it down the Cape all the time, and what it is it's like hexagonal plastic shapes. It's about 1 inch or 2 inches thick. It gets staked down in place, and then you fill it with stone or stone and sand. For a driveway, they make a bed under it of stone, and then they put that on top. And what it does is it just stabilizes the surface so that you can park cars on it. You can fill it with stone dust, shells. You can do all sorts of different materials in it. But it affords a flat area that's permeable as opposed to impermeable.
Okay.
So obviously we've got to have a walk. My hope would be that might be less expensive than the pavement, and also something you could do yourself, which I'm betting you don't have a paving machine for the town, just a guess.
Dan? I mean, I know there's something that exists, but it's not for large-scale
Yeah.
projects.
Right.
Maybe
So-
we do that, just excavation, stuff like that.
But my own thought would be something like that. So, speaking for myself, the idea of the impermeable surface right there down next to the edge, I'm torn because I think it's wonderful that then everybody would get to access and be able to see it, and kids could ride their bikes, and it would be a safe surface. And at the same time, it's the kind of thing that we've denied applicants for in the past. 3.5 feet, we would never accept that. And so but of course it's a very small area. So it's a little tricky for us. So, but we're very excited about the idea that this would promote access for folks who wanted to go in those spots. So,
Yeah, and if I can further that, as far as the surface material and the type of surface, there's ADA compliance, and then there's preferability. So the paved surface isn't just for handicap accessibility; it's also for things like strollers and things like that, which obviously a harder surface is going to make a difference on. So those are part of the reasons why we're really hoping to get something that does have the type of material that can allow access for people. As you can recognize that there's a lot of ball fields, soccer fields that get placed in there. It's used for 3 different seasons for different things. So it's accessibility not just for ADA, but accessibility in general for the public. That's a big part of it too. So that's one of the reasons why we really are hoping for the more solid surface if we can.
no, and I remember it fondly. I mean, the area where the path travels now always was a dirt path, and the kids would walk down there, and but it wasn't even, so it wasn't like people could go back there with a stroller or anything like that. And if I remember correctly, There was do you have a lot of brush clearing to do in order to make this happen?
We've been fortunate to get some help from Court Order Community Service to assist with this as part of this ongoing project to set this up.
Okay.
So we're in pretty good shape for that.
Okay. Well, is it extensive? Is it light brush back there, heavy brush through there?
It's light brush.
Okay.
There's really the whole area of the pathway is within already mowed areas. We are staying on the top of that the bank. So as far as any real vegetation removal,
There really isn't.
There really isn't. Maybe in through here, coming up the ramp, there's pine needle bed. There's really not a lot of, in fact, we're trying to save and not remove any trees as well. So we're really, the path location was chosen to limit any type of filling or cutting over the important root systems of these large trees. So we are trying to save as many trees as possible. And really, along the pond edge, there's no anticipated tree removal except for anything that might be dead or dangerous
Okay.
for the path.
I just remember there was some light brush back there, where the path wound through.
Yes.
But that's that might not even be the path you're planning. That's the path the kids established at some point to
Yeah.
get closer to the water from monsters.
We do actually, if you want, we have a video.
We have
Whoa.
to see this.
Oh,
We
this
have
is
to see
nice.
this.
This is nice.
Since we did fly the drone, we do have a video from the drone.
Wow.
So this is the hill with the ramp coming
Right.
up.
When did you do this?
This was in the beginning of November.
I was going to say, you got pretty lucky. I would have found it hard to believe that all your trees would have lost their leaves like that.
Mm.
We actually wanted to get started a little bit sooner, but there was a lot of leaves still out, so we tried to wait until most of them had dropped.
So you can see there's really next to no vegetation along that.
Right. And then the cut through's easy. Yeah. Yeah, the Google Earth view really distorts the top portion. Really distorts this area, and that's just the trees from the angle of the picture.
Right, yeah, this ortho photo is from the drone as well. When we fly the drone, we can have the camera set straight down or at an angle, and we had it straight down this time, but you can see the shadows of the trees really right apart and being able to see exactly what's there.
So just so you know, so I was trying to find that material, the plastic material, and I stumbled upon this one, a company called Porous Pave. Porous Pave Inc., and it's a mix of highly porous, flexible rubber and other materials that you put in place instead of pavement. Just options or thoughts. And I know we can find that
You're
plastic
taking notes of
material.
this, right?
I am.
Okay. Thank you.
I know we can find that other material.
And it's
Here it
a
is.
system
It's-
where you fill it.
Yeah, it's like this. So the one that I just told you about was actually, they had a mixer, which looked like it would be extensively difficult. So I'm just trying to see if they'll show. So this is the GeoPave. So there was another kind that I remember that we had used in a project that was hexagonal. This is squares. But the idea is it makes a surface that the wheels would roll over from a stroller or a wagon or somebody in a wheelchair, but at the same time, because it's filled with stone, it's flat, it's easy to walk on, but it's completely permeable.
Does vegetation grow through it?
Vegetation is going to grow through your pavement, yes. It's going to grow through everything. But what you can do with this sort of thing is you would scrape off all the material underneath it, you'd put a bed of stone down, then you'd put this stuff on top of it over black landscape fabric. And that'll probably buy you about 10 years. And then after that, it's going to come through pretty much anywhere. Unfortunately, as you can tell, if you go down the rail trail, the grass is going to grow up through it at some point. The only nice thing about stuff like this is that you can often go through and you can use the weed whacker, a trimmer, and cut those things down to nothing, and they die off. So, one of the options. But systems like this are great because they allow you to put a flat, stable path in an area where you can be right up next to the water and it doesn't have as great an effect. So, please, something to consider. Okay. Other than expressing empathy to Joanne for freezing that day, George, did you have anything? Jess?
Just a couple questions. So 5 feet wide, is ADA compliant, the 5 foot?
Yes.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum. Okay.
And that's a nice, comfortable width for walking next to somebody on a path.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, and then maybe having a bike whiz by you or something.
Yes.
So,
Gives you room to jump out of the way of that bike.
Inevitably whizzes by.
Right.
if I could elaborate on that just briefly, the decision of the width of the path went back and forth for a long time on this, as you can imagine. And so 5 foot to me seemed a little thin, but then, after we looked at it and talked to some other people, it did seem right. One of the concerns, and by the way, I apologize for interrupting the previous speaker when we were in the hallway, but that was actually one of our abutters that was his concern, that it was going to be wide enough, it would attract vehicles to drive on it. So that was one of his concerns. So but that did play into part of our decision because we thought about that as well. So 5 foot would be thin enough that it wouldn't attract any normal vehicles like that. So that was part of the decision too.
Okay. And then the path along, where the wetland flags are, is there any, that has to be dug, this all has to be dug out down to a certain depth, right, to actually put in the concrete, right?
Right.
There has to be some sort of prep.
Yeah, some sort of prep, right? So obviously that dirt is gonna be, put outside of the 100 foot.
Probably be removed
Just
as
removed
we're
as
digging
you're
it.
digging,
Yeah.
right?
Because ideally the construction would be in spring, summer seasons, and working around the sports schedule. So there really isn't any way to outside the buffer zone stockpile anything in this area. So we would probably be removing it right away.
And then trees, like roots of trees that are, in proximity to the path, would those roots be damaged? Would those trees be compromised?
So we have looked at the main one. There's actually 3 near the basketball court that we're looking at. We're at least, I don't know the actual distance.
It's on sheet C1 of the big plans.
Right, so show the canopy. So I believe we're at least 6 feet from the trunk of the tree with any filling or cutting operations. So our hopes is that it would not impact the root systems of the trees. And then the trees along the bank of the pond are lower in elevation. All the roots are lower, so we wouldn't be impacting any along the pond.
Also, the 3 trees that Andrea just mentioned were non-jurisdictional.
Yeah.
Those first 3.
Yeah.
So it's really just the
Just
area down right along the edge of the pond
Right.
where there's any tree issue or
Right.
potential tree issue.
Yeah.
But she has noted on the plan the drip line of these big trees as the part of the tree to stay away from.
Oh, I
'Cause
see.
that's-
Yeah. Circles. Yeah. And then any plans to do any additional planting down kind of on the, between the path and the?
We don't at this point.
Okay.
We did some preliminary cost estimates, and we're at the top of the limit.
Okay.
Which area were you referring to specifically?
Along the edge here.
Oh, the
Of the buffer zone.
buffer zone, yes. Yes.
And the only reason why I ask is that, this is gonna be an impervious surface, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of water's gonna come off and run right down. And I'm just wondering if there could be any way to catch some of that water, root system and, kind of a rain garden type.
Well, or even a linear buffer planting. I just got the Middlesex County Conservation District seedling sale catalog in the office the other day. And this would be a fabulous place for a long row of marble seedlings.
See,
No
that's
maintenance.
Yeah, that's the type of thing. Would there be any concern of toxicity due to its
Oh, the
proximity
birds,
to
the
the?
birds would get them way before.
Okay.
Kids
People got
picking the
them.
blueberries and eating them.
Yeah, the birds would get them way before.
Yeah.
Boy, you're not worried about toxicity for the birds?
Those birds who are eating those blueberries are survivors. Yes,
They have 3 eyes, but they're survivors.
that's right.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that, and I'm sorry, John, I missed you almost.
I was just curious if there's been any thoughts or plans to extend this little white branch that's sticking out here to connect it. To make a loop out of it instead of just being a dead end.
So I can say for John, hold on, so this is actually the very first thing they addressed, and because you never had any children over here at these parks, you don't know that is the ball-stopped hill. So that's the hill. It goes right up where so that none of the balls end up in the housing area behind it.
Yep.
So what they were saying is that's a tricky one to come back around on, but
Yeah.
it's a natural place where everybody walks anyway.
Yeah, there's a number of issues. I mean, maybe the foremost being it's not even our property. It's
Well,
housing
that,
authority property.
sure.
So we start with that, and then there's a number of things that go beyond that. So
There's a really bad stormwater situation where all the water from the housing authority comes out of the side of that hill in 3 pipes.
Actually, see one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Straight out.
There's a catch basin
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
And there's one of the pipes.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, there's another
Yeah.
one down here.
Yeah.
Huh.
Gets a lot of water.
A little flooded Canada.
yeah, and then it's been kind of putting more and more material out into the field, which at one point that hill was probably close to a nice 45-degree angle. Now it's kind of encroached another 20 feet into that field, just with debris that's been left behind from the washout.
If only we could get someone in the DPW to look at it.
I think we have.
Who do you think we should call?
Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, they definitely have a lot of work at the housing authority to do with that parking lot. And we have some communication to do between parks, housing authority, and us to make sure that gets dealt with in.
Right.
Yeah.
And another issue that they need to deal with is that parking lot is because of the erosion, is having some issues. So they need to take care of that as well on their own. So we have been in contact with them, trying to work on a partnership for it, and they're quite open to it. So we think that we do have some potential for it, but it's going to be a combination of building a retaining wall, working on the stormwater. There's going to be a number of things that have to go on to make that happen.
Well, so it sounds like between property ownership, the fact that the soccer fields are really close to that hill,
Right.
how far does the land go down? Can you go to the other plan?
It's a very strange border.
Went through that a lot faster than Cal. Nice.
This
So-
is the dark black line is the property line just from GIS. It hasn't been surveyed.
Yeah, but if I can just interrupt, we did survey it, and that does not reflect what the line is. The line actually drops down. It starts at the top right corner, but then does come through, and if you can kind of see, there's like a turnaround. Can I just? Basically, just it kind of goes like this, and then cuts through here, and then it gets really weird. It cuts down to here, and then it goes zoot, right up there. It's I don't know where they came up with that, but it does. It actually goes onto this baseball field, this whole driveway is basically still part of Housing Authority land. So it kind of starts at the top of the hill and then works its way to the bottom of the hill down over here by the survey that we had done about 10 years ago. So it's, you know, it's a very strange issue. Now, we've discussed with the Housing Authority potential, you know, thoughts on that, and including the idea that, you know, possibly they could just deed us that land at some point. But they have to deal with their parking issues. That's, you know, it's going to be.
Do they have a difficulty with parking up there?
No, just the lot itself
Yeah.
is eroding underneath it.
So the first thing that would probably come to mind is a storm scepter or some similar device up there, because right now what they're doing isn't appropriate, not even remotely.
Yeah, I haven't seen the basins, but maybe they don't have sumps in them and et cetera. I would assume it's old.
If the water's shooting out, then they probably don't.
Yeah. So, yeah, it definitely needs some care.
Well, maybe it's worth trying to bring them in on the discussion of the whole thing, because obviously, you know, if the town is going to the trouble to do this and to really augment a path that's, you know, kind of in use now and make it really formal, so it's, you know, great for more people to be able to use, then that's wonderful. But if you're, you know, continuing to have a problem up there, that seems something worth discussing.
It certainly is, but for, you know, practicality purposes, we didn't want to keep on holding this project up for another 20 years while we figure out a way to fund that, to work with them, to get all that together. So that's where this came to where it's at right now.
Makes sense. Ms. Pravadakis?
Being a member of the Ayer Housing, I just want to reiterate what Jeff said, okay, that, yeah, we've been in discussion and everything else like that, and this is a financial issue right now with the state of Massachusetts, because Ayer Housing is a DHCD entity, and they're working on, you know, trying to get money for a capital improvement, so yeah, we will, you know, we will address it.
Is that something you folks have applied for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, they have gone ahead and, you know, and done that, and looking for ways to do it, but again, this money's not there.
Okay.
And
Because one of the
just-
things that we would probably want to talk about is some way to keep that, you know, protect that water, that stormwater coming off of there from,
Okay.
you know,
I'll bring it
flooding
up
in the
at
field.
meeting. I'll bring it up to Ayer Housing meeting next week.
Thank you.
No, I was just going to mention that, you know, the Ayer Housing Authority board itself has been really great for us to work with, and it's been good communication. But it's, again, you know, in the end, it's a state agency that we're dealing with
Right.
for that end of it, and coming up with solutions and things, and that's going to be a challenge.
It always is. All right. Sir, you've been here all night. Did you have anything specific you'd like to talk about on this?
Oh, I work with Andrea. I did help with some of the design and the drafting.
So you're against it?
No, not at all.
This is where you're like, I think this is a great project, and this is wonderful.
Fantastic project.
You're going to want to coach that after the meeting. It's, okay. As you know, we were talking about sidewalks on the 17th. Are you folks available on the 17th?
Later.
Yeah, well, Andrea's daughter actually daughters play in our basketball program in the morning, which is nice to see them bright and early. So it's, I'm not sure what your availability is, Dan. I am not available on Saturday at all.
Okay.
On the 17th, this 17th. Any other one beyond that, no. I can guess we might be able to find some commissioners to go with us. And in lieu of that, we're very confident with Land Tech's ability to represent our interests on this.
And honestly, the simplicity of the project is such that I hope we could figure it out on our own. It'd be great if you could come, and in case you had specific things to add. Anybody who would like to be there from the commission, that would be great. But I feel very confident if the walkway was staked so that we could identify the center of the walkway, that would be perfect. And to save on the amount of work that has to happen, if you just give us stakes, if you just give us stakes in this area, up to right up here,
Gotcha. Yep.
we'll be able to figure it out. This area here, for those who aren't familiar with it, this is very steep, and we'll figure out what's going on. But you can tell this would be easy enough to understand, and that walkway is very simple. It's right down the side of the road. So, okay. So
Yeah.
our plan would be to come plus or minus 11 o'clock on that day. So if anybody's available to make it. And Andrea, if you can give your cell number to Joanne in case we are running late, that would be perfect.
And I will advise the commission that if the conditions are anything like they are today, you will need crampons. It's literally a skating rink
Well,
with slopes.
this morning was disappointing for everyone that way.
I wore mine to the train the other day, and they worked.
There you go.
Did not slip and fall.
Didn't slip once in the train.
No. I took them off.
Have microspikes.
Jeff, can we drive down this way? Get us a little bit closer
It should
instead
be.
of walking across?
It should be. It
Okay.
should be.
So if we want to meet.
Oh yeah, we can go right down that
But
way.
you will want a four-wheel drive vehicle to do that.
That's not plowed out?
It's not, it gets plowed out, but I'm not sure with the most recent storm if they got the plowing done on that, because that's a gravel surface, so I'm
Well-
not sure. I didn't notice if they did. I didn't see it.
Interestingly enough, today is the 8th. It is 16 degrees out right now. It is going to continue to drop tonight, then be 51 on Saturday, 39 and rain on Sunday, and then 44, 41, 45, 44 next week. So, I will be stunned if there's any snow left.
So you can leave your crampons at home after all.
Where are we?
And Jess's micro spikes. Nice.
Mind you, it's supposed to get cold for the 17th, but you know what? We'll be just fine.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Bring your microspikes. Okay. Anyone have anything else for this? Thank you very much for coming tonight. We'll attend the meeting on the 17th. We can pass on any feedback from that time, and we would have our next meeting on March 8th. When's your time frame? You're not going to be able to start till the ground thaws anyway, right?
Unlikely.
Okay.
We still have to have a bidding process and
Sure,
such,
sure,
so it'll be a while.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to 3/8.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. And if you can make it, we'll see you on the 17th. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Unlike the other people. Okay. Miss Providakis, you have been so patient.
And well entertained, probably.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
I did not print any of that out. All of it. I have some copies of some of it for you. Thank you. I've been working on
Have a nice
this.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.
Do we have stuff to put up? I'm just wondering if I should move.
Well,
The sitting side saddle is starting
yeah, I
to
know.
it's bugging my neck. I have to just move to the other side. That's all.
I don't have anything to put up for the policies and procedures.
Okay.
I have pictures of beautiful air
Well, let's do this.
for later.
Okay. Well, later is constrained, and that's the
I
only
know.
thing I'm worried about. So
But we
I don't
really-
know.
I say we really need to get to this if we have to catch up with the office updates. There is
That's-
one thing we have to sign as part of the office updates.
Okay.
That's the rest of it.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. And the only reason I say this, and so I don't know what it is, the last 3 weeks, I cannot shake this headache. It has been every single day. It starts in the back, it moves to the front.
Yeah, me too.
And I was pretty upset about it, and then I was talking to one of the guys I worked with, and he's like, no, everyone's had that.
Yeah.
And he goes, and it ends in a sinus infection.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the sinus
I don't
infection.
have it yet either.
Neti pot, neti pot.
Neti pot, yeah, I've been doing neti pot.
Couldn't be
And
happier.
steam.
So I'm going to give us 55 minutes.
Here are links to the first things.
I'm going to give us 55 minutes. That would put us at 9 minutes of 10. So actually, I'm going to give us.
Well, do you want to sign this thing that needs signing right now so we
First.
don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
let's
it?
do it.
What
Go for it.
specifically is it?
Is a replacement copy of the of the certificate of compliance for this. It's
09092?
Thank you.
Does it say 0092?
It says 0291.
Yeah, that one.
Mill Corp. Oh, this was the, is this the underground pipe?
Yeah,
They lost it?
they lost that.
But we didn't have it in our file either, right? Or did we?
I assume we charge for that kind of thing, don't we?
This was the one that, the thing in the file is only the request for that.
Because if we, it seems like it got lost somewhere under the old regime.
April.
Yeah, it was April.
So
We
I can
did
make
it.
this super simple. I would accept a motion to re-sign DEP file number, yeah.
This is the only thing that was in the file. And then the Realtor brought me the planning board plan.
Interesting.
But this is it. This is all we got.
I would entertain a motion to re-sign the previously signed and voted for on April 13th, 2017, certificate of compliance for DEP file number 100-0291 to be signed again and reissued tonight.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No, can John
I was
sign
gonna
this?
say, I can't.
He can't sign this one.
No. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions? Yes.
Yes.
It's so easy. Just like home. They told me what to do. I was done. Okay, that was easy. Any other misappropriated materials?
No, but there are a couple of these department head review little projects that have come in that are.
I'm gonna get a drink of water.
Sure.
um,
Can I beg one thing for next time?
Yeah.
You change the date on the updates. It still says January 11th.
Oh, rats. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So Jess is grabbing a drink of water while she is hydrating. We have before us, as a reminder, the town of Ayer, during the public meeting, fall special town meeting, voted to move $500,000 from money that CPC was hoarding into an account that could then be spent on projects here in town. And we said, yeah, and we'll make rules. Yeah, sure, yeah. That was 5 months ago. No, not even. No.
Not even, not yet.
Not even. Was it
Not yet,
October?
not yet.
October, right? Is
End
it
of October.
Yeah.
So November, December, January, February. Yeah. I'll give you 3.
Okay, thank you.
So it was a quarter of a year ago when we said, yeah, we'll make rules, sure. And then, of course, we did talk about making rules. So to be fair, that's almost half done. And then we purposely allocated the time for tonight. So this is fantastic.
Here we
So what we're discussing is policies and procedures for conservation fund spending.
Yes.
Just want to make sure we were clear. It's on record. $500,000 going out the door in this way. So let's move forward. So
Jess and I kind of poked around to see if we could find some examples where folks had done this already and we could have a place to start.
capitalize on their hard work.
You know,
Why reinvent it?
Why reinvent the wheel? So one of the things I think we both found was the Georgia Vermont Conservation Reserve Fund. And I think you should all have their little packet. They have a policy and procedure document. They have an application that's a request for funds. So their fund works a little differently than our conservation fund. Their reserve fund is sort of overseen by the selectmen of their town in Vermont. Applications are administered through the Conservation Commission, but the money is actually kept by the selectmen and it's voted on at town meeting.
So we've skipped all
Yes,
those
we have
steps.
skipped all
Can be
those
voted
steps.
on right here in this room.
Yeah.
All the power is in
Yeah.
this room.
Yeah.
But the check still has to be written by the treasurer. The treasurer.
But
Accountant, I
their
forget.
policies and procedures are simple and straightforward, and they seem pretty comprehensive.
That seems inconvenient.
Well.
Simple and straightforward.
Yeah. Which one are you talking about?
Georgia.
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 Do you need one? Do you want one?
No, she's got it right there.
Okay.
Georgia.
Yeah.
I only have 2 pages.
Oh, here, have one with you.
Well, it's actually 2 pages. You're just missing the front page.
Oh, cover page.
Old sweet song.
Let's see, here, and I didn't have the recast.
Okay. So, if I can step back one, we wanted to make sure that we had appropriate guidelines. And I would never have thought of an application process for this. I just assumed people would come in and talk to us. So, and in fact, I was actually thinking that we would be, focusing on looking at specific properties and then, making offers. So I love the idea of an application process because it really formalizes a vote on a piece of property. So I think that's swell. And then, so then of course the next question is, what makes a property a good property for this money to be spent?
Did you see the email from Beth Sudemeyer?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where is Ms. Sudemeyer?
Well,
She couldn't make it.
She couldn't, but,
She
we
did
just-
have some attachments.
I would actually just,
10 of them.
read that
Some of them
into,
weren't
Right.
fine.
just because she had some things that she would have, had she been able to be here,
Okay.
mentioned in terms of what properties and.
So she says, okay. So she's actually got some very important points here for us to discuss. She says, dear folks, won't be able to make it. For now, I want to comment that I think the important considerations are that the funds will be used for an identified priority for open space protection based on the master plan, the OSRP, and the in development land protection prioritization list. What is the land protection prioritization list?
Well, that's going to be the result of a grant that Mark, the planner, and I applied for through Montechusett Regional Planning. That I have some news that I'm not allowed to share on how that's all going.
Okay. Well,
we haven't
so
been
if-
officially notified yet.
If we got it,
What
would happen?
We would have that list. A
So-
list of prioritized parcels for potential purchase.
okay. And what is the list based on?
The list is based on several different criteria that Mark and I put together, based on other mapping that already exists.
Okay.
That would just have to be brought all together into one comprehensive map.
And the Montechusett people do that for us?
They do that for us.
So they have
On a
all these resources.
On a regional scale.
Oh.
So we would see where we could dovetail into things that our neighbor towns are already doing.
Okay. How about the master plan?
The master plan is finishing up.
And she's supposed to bring it to the Board of Selectmen March 1st.
Okay.
It's Ms. Sudemeyer.
No,
Oh, who?
no,
Courtney.
Community Opportunities
It's
Group.
not the same as the open space and recreation.
That's why I was trying to figure this out.
That's Beth.
That's Beth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, I got it mixed up.
Yeah.
So
They're
who's this
happy to
girl,
get the
Courtney?
same-
Courtney's
She's-
telling,
Yeah, she's our consultant to the town
Okay.
for the master plan.
Okay.
So the parcels that are identified in the master plan are parcels that have been identified in the open space and recreation plan. Those are parcels that we already looked at as a commission the night that Courtney was
Courtney
here.
came here, yeah.
Yes, to help us try to sort all of that out.
Oh, yeah, and we pointed out other parcels to her.
Right.
Okay.
So that's really one starting place. I think the results of the mapping and prioritization that's going to be done as part of this grant is going to be more robust, really, than just a list. Some of the mapping is going to include things like connectivity and wildlife corridors and habitat and the list is long.
Well, no, it's great because, so to that point, right? So one of the things, whenever I think about us buying land, the first thing I ever think about is how do we get the biggest chunks we can get because you got to save them while you can get them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So parcel, the folks are, they're going to move on from the town or whatever, and they have a big piece in Chapter 61 or some other large piece that's undeveloped. How do we get our hands on that? But that's a great idea from a total, square footage, but it doesn't necessarily build corridors. It doesn't necessarily build, stakes for areas to come together.
So one of the things Georgia, Vermont did, in their policies and procedures, on the second page of the actual guidelines, they have evaluation criteria, and there's it is just laid out in a list. And I think our list is going to be a weighted priority kind of list. So if something's coming out of chapter land and it connects to Pine Meadow and it also connects to,
So proximity.
This, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
That becomes, that one moves up to the top of the list.
Okay, so before we go down that road, because then that also is with the idea that there's multiple applications in front of us at one time. So one of the hard things about Chapter 61 is that it's kind of there or it's not.
Right.
Right? It's a meteor.
Yeah.
Right? It shows up or it doesn't. And so with regard to, giving a criteria, it would certainly make something better, more valuable for us to look at, as a parcel.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it also comes back to the same idea, which is the parcels we'd want the most are the ones that, if they're there, that's where it gets hard. It's almost impossible to not say it's a good parcel. There would be better ones than other ones, but if the other ones aren't for sale at the time, it doesn't matter.
Right. That's right. That's right. It is possible, and I hate to even say this out loud, that a parcel becomes available and we work down through and
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So having that sifting mechanism is what this grant is going to help us with.
So I'm going to read through this because we stopped on one of the things that Beth had mentioned. So Beth said funds would be used for identified priorities of open space protection based on master plan, OSRP, and the land protection prioritization list. I also think it would be best that both Concom and BOS have public hearings to gather public input considering a potential acquisition. So I guess I'm partly interested in that.
I would disagree with half of that.
Yeah, I feel very comfortable that we have public hearings, but
You don't need the BOS.
I don't. Well, what I would say is that through town meeting, we are in a position where the Board of Selectmen isn't necessary for the process.
That's right.
And all it's going to do is just increase the time for action, which in a lot of these cases wouldn't be to our benefit.
Right.
So if there was no lag whatsoever, then I guess I wouldn't have a really big purchase. Then maybe it makes sense to go to BOS. But if somebody came into us and they said, I have a time frame, and no one has ever come to us and said, I don't have any kind of time frame. You guys want to buy this? No one's ever said that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not as interested in Board of Selectmen input, but I would also state a reminder that the town, through the town meeting, said that wasn't necessary, that it came through the Conservation Commission. It says, I look forward to seeing a draft of the procedure policy I can comment on. Here are the replies I got to my inquiries about conservation funds. Surveyed a few towns, CPA database, use CPA funds for conservation funds with more money than they would use for just due diligence. She got information from Groton, Harvard, Lincoln, Sudbury, Hingham, Northampton, but they didn't reply to her.
Yeah, and I've got the Groton and Harvard things right here, and Harvard has a very nice plan laid out for themselves.
How about that?
See these dots in yellow?
Yeah.
That's chapter land in Harvard.
How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes a lot of sense, though.
It does. Isn't that amazing?
So pretty soon we could have that kind of chart.
Maybe. I don't think we have that
think
many
we're gonna go
parcels.
reverse?
What?
Reverse? We're gonna go in reverse? We're gonna...
Get land in chapter 61 instead of taking it?
No, I mean, we could have a chart that identifies all those parcels.
Oh, I thought you were talking 61.
I think we do.
We don't have that.
No, we don't have that. but
I
we
can
do
make
have-
I can make us this.
We do.
See?
This
we,
is
we
not
know
hard
which
to
ones
come
are
up
in
with,
chapter 61.
but we do have a few.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I was just dazzled by this.
That's
it really
pretty cool.
It really is quite something.
More woods.
Okay,
More
so
woods and fields and
Yeah.
so stepping back,
yeah.
so the idea is to come up with a criteria or a list of criteria by which we say, gosh, we've got to have that, all the way down to that doesn't suit our needs, but it sure is pretty.
Yeah. Well, and so the criteria is just really one part of this document that Georgia came up with. They've got purpose, administration, use of the fund, eligibility, review process for funding decision, evaluation criteria, and benefits. And it's simple and clean. I think it serves the purpose of having policies and procedures without going crazy.
All right, so if we just Ayer,
But one of
take
the
out
things,
the word reserve, because it's a conservation fund, right?
Yeah.
It's just writing itself.
one of the things that, again, I read it quick, so I don't know if it is in here, but when CPC has looked at acquiring land, we have, and the town has, paid out monies for appraisals, for phase ones and things like that.
Yeah.
And when the individual backs out, we've lost money.
Right.
If this, ends up, if someone goes ahead and wants, we end up using the conservation fund, it would be nice to be able to put in something that the town can recoup its losses.
With a clause.
Something,
I would think that would be in a purchase and sales agreement.
So
But
so
if
let's
you
go
don't
back
do
a step.
Purchase and sale.
Yeah, well, hold on. Let's go
Yeah.
back a step.
Yeah.
So when we bought Tooker, there were a couple of things that we were looking for, but let's not forget we did a lot of the decisions we made were driven based on what we were going to have to do at town meeting. We didn't actually need an assessment. We didn't need to do a property assessment. We literally didn't need to do one. The reason we did one was so that we could talk about it at town meeting to justify the cost and to come to a fee. If somebody came to us with 100 acres and they said, "I'll sell it to you for $500,000," it would be easy enough to do a quick search to figure out if $500,000 was the right money for 50 acres in this area. So what we did three things when we did those properties. The first thing we did was we did the appraisal, which again we could skirt if only to enact afterwards if we had signed an offer to purchase, right? Second, we did phase one. Thank you. We did the phase one, which phase one, and it all goes back 50 years, right? Phase one doesn't go back forever; it all goes back 50 years. So if anybody's not familiar, a phase one is an identification of previous landowners of the property, which basically says, go back and you look and you see, was the property owned by a gas station? Was the property owned by a factory? Were those things on that parcel? Which, if we are on wooded property, general answer is probably absolutely not. But a phase one was, I don't know, less than $1,000. It was short insurance. And the third thing we did was the title search, which we did because you darn bill better. Right. Well, we did the survey on ours, right? We did the survey on ours, and that would probably come back to how long ago it had been surveyed. In this particular case, Mr. Trucker's property hadn't been surveyed ever, and was all just based on bank maps and that kind of thing.
So that was just an outright purchase in fee, just a...
Bought it.
Without it being surveyed?
No, we did. So that's the point. So to
Okay.
George's point, it had never been surveyed.
But you paid,
So-
so who paid for it to be surveyed?
CPC. So there's the survey, phase one, which again is just phase one is a deed-based environmental appraisal of the project to determine if there's a reason to then go and do a phase two. And if we found ourselves in a position where we thought we had to do a phase two, we're probably not buying the project. Probably not buying the property.
These types of things have to be spelled out in sort of a.
Well, so here's where it gets tricky. So to Janet's point, right, these things all cost money. But if you're trying to buy a piece of property, these are almost the cost of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of option around it. The appraisal actually, I think we should actually think about this in a different way. It would be possible for, say, you during the week next week to grab some large property purchases in the area and just say, based on what you could find online due to property purchases, could you say, big purchases are going for between X and X dollars per acre? Is there a way for us to get in the ballpark so that we could legitimately look at each other and say, yeah, it's 50 acres, and 50 acres in Concord went for $18,000 an acre, and 50 acres in Leominster went for $8 an acre, and yep, we fell right in the middle, something to that effect. Is there a way that we can knock these things off? Because the problem is, otherwise, you are looking at those costs. Mm-hmm. There's not a good way around them, and no one is going to say.
And I know it's part of business. I mean, I do know that, all right? But I know that it's also been discussed, of putting in some sort of deterrent, for people to walk away saying, gee whiz, I'd rather not have an additional $5,000, going out of my pocket or whatever.
Well, there is an easy way to do that. If you walk in here, you have to name your price. So we fiddle-flammed around with a landowner in town who will remain nameless, and we said, well, how much do you want for that land? Well, how much do you give me? How much do you want for it? Well, how much would you give me? You have to at least get us in the ballpark. Well, what do you think you'd pay? And we should have just, by the third time that happened, we should have just said, I guess we're probably not going to be able to make this work. Probably not going to be able to make this work.
So,
because right now we want you to pay us to take it because you're a pain.
I think I found the solution to your problem. Funds used for these purposes shall be reimbursable to the fund if conservation is not achieved. So, use of the fund, technical assistance including site work appraisals, legal assistance, land surveys to landowners who want to permanently protect natural scenic recreation. This is the first bullet under use of the fund.
For technical assistance, including site work appraisals, legal assistance, and land surveys, who want to permanently protect natural, scenic, or recreational resources important to the town of Georgia, funds used for these purposes shall be reimbursable to the fund if conservation is not achieved. But reimbursable from whom? The town?
Well, we would just have to figure that out.
Well, there's only a couple of options. One is the person who comes in and says, I want you to buy my property, and I can't picture that happening. And the other one is the town, we rate something like this, but that probably would have had to be in the warrant article that we would get $500,000 from CPC. Although I guess at the end of the day, CPC can vote to give money back to the project. So if, let's say we had $500,000 and we investigated 3 parcels and we bought one of them, and we spent $10,000 investigating the other 2 parcels, we could certainly go back to CPC and say, hey, we spent $10,000 forwarding the interests of the fund. Would you please give us $10,000 to replace the $10,000 we spent? That would be the only option I can picture. I don't know who else you go to. Unless you went to town meeting and just said, we'd like $10,000.
Well, so what if you're asking the person whose land you didn't buy to reimburse the fund?
So imagine if you have this land and it's in Chapter 61, and your two options moving forward are a payday windfall with a developer, or you can offer it to the town at a lower number because it's the right thing to do. Except if you pull out of the deal or something goes wrong, you now have to pay the town thousands of dollars that you really don't have.
But then you turn around and sell it to the developer and you've recouped your losses 18 times over, right?
That is certainly one way to look at it.
Yeah.
I guess my concern would be, what does that person look at it as? And
Yeah.
if there's a risk to them coming to us. So I think we can handle it just the way we were talking about, where when people came to us and they said, we want to spend this much money for the project, for this property, we were able to pretty quickly say, boy, that doesn't ring true, or yeah, that makes sense. Because we had another project where they came to us and they wanted a lot of money. It made absolutely no sense. There was no sense to it whatsoever.
So sometimes what happens is they get an appraisal and we get an appraisal, and they're pretty close, and you meet in the middle, or because the appraisals would have to be pretty close if both parties are hiring
Appraisers.
bona fide appraisers. That's going to be a cost of doing business.
Right.
And that's really a good way to figure out what the land is worth.
I don't think we have any choice. I think it is wonderful to consider the idea that maybe we can get that money back, but my feeling is that I think we put ourselves at a disadvantage by saying to somebody, if you come into us and you want to offer us a piece of property and we start to go down that path, if it doesn't work out, you owe us for going through the process. I just think that's more discouraging than it is encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also assuming that we're going to sit back and wait for them to come to us, but we're also talking about seeking out people.
Right, because remember, that's that yellow map.
Right.
That yellow map is the idea of sending letters to all those people and saying, just so you know, we are the Town of Ayer Conservation Commission. We now have a conservation fund.
Mhm.
We're very interested in looking at properties. Yours is, and in fact, maybe the idea is to use this list not so much as a way to evaluate properties that are available and in front of us, but more as a way to evaluate properties that we then reach out to procure. So we use this list to go through the yellow paper, the yellow map, and say, that's a 1, that's a 2, that's 3, that's 4. And then based on that, use that to judge how we reach out to people and if they come back to us. Again, same thing. If no one is selling their property, then
Well, that would be kind of nice to
Not a lot to
have,
buy.
like a list of predetermined list of
pre-reviewed.
pre-reviewed.
When all the stars line up,
Yeah.
we may get that list.
Yeah.
Well, and it would be especially helpful because not only through our reaching out to those people, but if at some point they came back to the committee, to commission, the commission then doesn't have to do all that homework over again. The commission just looks and says, that property was number 2 on our list.
So
We'd be
under
very interested.
review process for funding decision, on the second page of our sample example, landowners may approach the Conservation Commission. Likewise, the Conservation Commission may take the initiative and establish contact with the landowner.
Recommendation, yeah. And so the second one, review all requests.
Yeah.
Recommendation will be contingent on funding availability.
Mhm.
If a project meets the guidelines. So here's where it gets interesting. So I've crossed out the Board of Selectmen because that isn't one of our criteria or
Right.
requirements.
Right.
So if a project does meet our guidelines, I would say that the commission would hold a public hearing to open up that purchase to the public. Because one of the things that came up during the meeting, remember, well, how is this money going to get spent?
Mhm.
Is this a behind closed doors kind of thing?
Mhm.
And so if a project meets the guidelines, the commission will hold public hearings.
At what point do you want to do that? Because maybe homeowners, landowners don't want, to be negotiating in public.
Well, I guess I'm not, okay, so
Like when in Groton bought Surrendon Farm, nobody knew that those negotiations were going on until they were finalized.
So, but once they were finalized, did everyone know what they were paying and the
Yeah.
project?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're really talking about is making this say that, so maybe we just pop that in before this, right? So we review the request, make a recommendation based on funding. I guess I was thinking of all that as we've established what we're paying, right? Because you can't make a recommendation on funding unless you know what the number is.
Right.
Okay, so maybe we tighten up the second bullet point to say, we'll review all requests for use of the fund to make sure they meet the guidelines, and in between, Conservation Commission and CPC will negotiate a price for the property. Now,
Who's gonna do that?
how or who?
Who?
Well, it is not often, George, that someone jumps up to volunteer for something, and I do appreciate you doing that. My guess is I think you'll be great at it.
Didn't Robert say something that his office would handle some of the
Yeah.
negotiation? Because you did most of the work for Tooker. So with that, I think Robert did step in and say, the town
He
would
could.
do it.
It would be great. So one of the problems that happened Tooker was everything came together in a great way. Mr. Tooker wasn't in any rush. He had the time. He, was selling the land, but he'd already bought his new property, and he was very comfortable, and he could do it as it came. And so we were never with our backs up against the wall, getting a phone call. Look, if I don't know by noon today, you guys are out. We were never there. And that's not the kind of thing that people can do part-time, which is why it was great that Robert volunteered for that. So if Robert can help us with that, even if he's nothing but a go-between, so that, he's a, 9 to 5 voice on the other end of the phone, that would be fantastic. So I would say Conservation, CPC, and the town of Ayer will negotiate.
Didn't the North County Land Trust also offer to help?
We have in the past, yeah. But I think,
Did we meet them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jassy.
Oh, Jassy.
But I think we risk getting too many things back
Yeah.
into the
Right.
market without.
Well,
Are
and
they
if
offering
it's-
money?
No.
If
Oh,
it's
well, then
if
they're
it's an outright purchase, you don't need a land trust involved. Sometimes CRs, you need a pass-through entity.
Well, so that actually brings up another point, which George was just dying to make. After we bought Tooker, wasn't it true that we can't hold the restriction? What was the rule again?
Yeah, we can't hold a restriction on land that we own.
That's right. That's the rule.
Right. So we can own land, but we then can't
Right.
hold the restriction.
Right. That's why you need a land
Can
trust.
CPC hold the restriction?
No.
I don't think
It's
so.
all-
But
it's all the town.
can't the town?
No, because it's all the town. All right.
That's why Devon's keeps coming to us to hold restrictions on their conservation stuff.
Yeah, well, they had mentioned that it might be an option. I didn't see any reason to say no.
Right.
No, but who said, was it Brian said he didn't think it was a good idea? Somebody said they didn't like the idea.
Yeah, I think it was Brian.
I think it was Brian.
Yeah. So it must be a good idea.
Yeah, perfect then. All right, so the idea is if we own the property, who would hold that? So maybe the restriction is transferred to the land trust. Again, the restriction
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything more than
Right.
they
Right.
hold it.
Right. And if the property abuts Groton, who has a land trust, or Harvard, who has a land trust,
We should absolutely flip it. If it abuts Groton, we give it to Harvard. If it abuts Harvard, we give it to Groton. little rivalry on the line.
Yeah.
All right. So either a landowner or the commission take up the initiative and establish contact. One or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Then the commission in a meeting reviews the request to make use of the fund to make sure that request meets the guidelines. And if it is recommended to move forward, then the Conservation Commission, CPC, and the town of Ayer negotiate a price for the property. When a price has been negotiated and the project meets the guidelines, the commission will hold public hearings on the property, on the purchase of the property. Okay, so I would like to say I'd like to say at least 2. That gives everyone 2 bites of the apple to come to the hearing. Does that make sense? I feel like one...
You're talking about 2 public hearings?
2 public hearings.
Okay.
I feel like 1 public hearing puts us at risk of folks standing up and saying, that's exactly what I said, closed door, I didn't even know about it, nobody got information.
I consider doing a minimum of 1 public hearing, but I wouldn't want to lock us into having to have 2 if we had something where there was a time constraint.
Do you have?
I'll remind you of this discussion in town meeting as we're getting slammed for hiding the process.
Because public hearings can happen back to back. You don't have to wait 2 weeks.
We could even have 2 in 1 week. We could have a Tuesday and a Thursday, right? Just to give multiple opportunities for folks to
You can
attend.
have a daytime one.
That's right, 1 daytime,
Could
1
even
evening.
do that.
You know?
Oh, yeah, same day?
But the only problem with the daytime one is be getting a quorum
At a public hearing?
of us. Yeah, some
Oh.
of us go to work every day. So really tough to show up.
So is it a public hearing? Is it a public forum? Is it a?
No, it would be a public hearing on the purchase of the property. And, my feeling would be at least 2, just foments the idea that there is complete open credibility to the process.
Weeknight and Saturday morning of the same week.
We could even do that. That feels like punishment, but we could even do that.
You do sidewalks on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
It'd be warmer.
That's outside.
I know.
And how often is this gonna happen?
I'm hoping,
They're going to be lining up at the front
they're going to be
door.
lining up at the That's right.
Hey, you guys got money? Okay. So we'll
Springtime
hold 2
meeting, we're
public
supposed to
meetings.
get
We'll
more.
hold 2 public hearings on the purchase of the property. Okay. At that point, the next note on here is the select board making the final decision. So that would be
That's us.
So let's talk about what's next. So if the Conservation Commission holds the money, does CPC want to be part of a joint meeting to approve? Does that make the most sense?
Well,
Well, hold on. Actually, does CPC, and don't take this wrong, please, does
Uh-huh.
CPC have standing under that?
not according
No.
to town meeting.
No.
Okay.
So
It's-
advisory, but not.
That's it. Because we gave you guys the money.
It was very nice.
I know that.
All right.
In addition, actually, if Robert follows through with trying to make other deposits of other
Correct.
monies into it, other town money, then CPC doesn't have it.
Yeah, we didn't have any.
That's
say
right.
in that.
That's right. So,
Okay.
we really, again, we really don't.
And then
Anymore.
also private money may come in as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We can ask for an endorsement.
I was just going to say, so the
We'll write a
Air
letter.
Conservation Commission will then make a final decision regarding the project. And at this point, it doesn't, I guess we don't even have to say it. We would, at that point, we would ask for the endorsement of other commissions, which we would then read at that public hearing.
Yeah.
So, make a final decision. Make a final decision regarding the project, or if needed, ask for more information. Doesn't make sense to say or decline the use because you're making a final decision. That's yes or no. Declining the use is a fourth option. That doesn't make any sense. It's just poorly written. Okay. Make a final decision, or if needed, pursue additional information. Now, obviously, the last part is out.
Right.
So, either we reach them or they reach us. We review the request based on a set of guidelines. We then negotiate for a price. We hold 2 public hearings. And at that point, we then make a final decision. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This is great, by the way.
Place to start.
Those Georgians.
Yeah.
All right. So, here is where. So, did anyone see the Wallace and Gromit with the rabbits? So, yeah, go ahead and admit it. So, Wallace and Gromit is it's claymation.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
right, and so one of my favorites was the when there was the battle in the field, and the bunnies were taking over, and everybody was angry, and the guy had the farm supplies or garden tools, and he slaps up mob supplies because he had his pitchforks and his
Right.
rakes and stuff.
Okay.
So this is the part where everybody grabs their pitchfork. Because here's where we throw down. What is the number one evaluation criteria? Is it agricultural lands?
Why do you have to do that?
We already agreed it has to be in an order. What's the most important thing?
Isn't that what's coming out of
The grant is
Well,
gonna.
the grant is going
that.
to assign values to those lands, but we have to have our own criteria. What are we looking for? Is it more important that something conserves agricultural land or forest land, conforms to town land, is adjacent to town land, protects watersheds, conserves wildlife habitat? Which is the most important thing? What are we most interested in achieving? We should at least have on number one, right?
Well, all right, let's go back to Beth's email. All right, looking at land that meets the open space and
Recreation
open
plan.
right, plus master plan, and there was the third thing, I forget. But that was the prioritized land protection list.
I'm not sure.
It's kind of vague though, right?
I'm not sure either one of those plans actually identifies parcels for potential purchase.
I don't think, open space doesn't, but
Well, let me throw this out there.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there. So, I don't believe for 1 minute that we're going to have 5 of these in front of us that we have to make a decision on at once, and we're so racked that we have, so much land to choose from. I just don't picture it happening.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, it's not like we have $130,000 to pay off some stripper.
So
However,
why don't we just go around? I have my
Where'd that come
top
from?
choice. It's not even on here.
your top choice isn't even on here?
No.
wetlands, ACEC.
So think about what we have in the town of Ayer.
Yeah.
We have a huge forested parcel that joins Pine Meadow.
Yeah, that's number 4.
Projects adjacent to existing town land or public lands. All right, I guess I didn't see it. Number one.
in my mind, number 1 is anything that expands the area we have, because that expands a habitat.
Exactly.
That especially if, for instance, it's already, as you said, forested. We got to bring that silly map down here more often.
Which silly map?
The one good thing he did, the blue map, the blue framed map.
It's out in the.
You're not a fan of that?
You can do better.
I thought this was going to work out. The map is crucial because it gives us the
I have
ability
the map.
to point at specific areas. But my point is that if you have a forested area, right?
Oh, Bonnie brought it up.
If you have and you hurt Jess's feelings because she was just slower.
It was getting there.
All right. So there's Pine Meadow.
Yep.
This is the area. This is the land.
Yep.
It goes all the way up here. So yeah, naturally, any land that can be added that's contiguous maintains wildlife habitat. Potentially, we get land that then allows us to create a wildlife corridor. But at this point, when you think about how small air is, how chopped up air is, it's less likely that we're going to get a corridor, establish a new corridor, than we're just simply protecting an existing one. So, Hudland property, which is
Look for the circle.
right down here. I found it. Hudland property, which is right down here. Okay? This is a great area that would open up an area that's across into an upland space that's basically not built on right now. Getting that kind of area, that would be wonderful. That would give us a space, might provide some trails, etc. But it isn't adjacent to an existing spot. So is it good? Sure.
Yeah.
Is it great? No.
Yeah.
But it's good.
The day we're picking one of those.
When all
two,
7 of
because
those
they're-
applications are in
Right.
front of us and I'm forced to
Exactly.
eat my hat,
Yes.
right? So my guess would be that the number one most important thing for us is to get land that is adjacent to the land we already have.
Yep.
Does anybody have any argument on why that's not the most important?
What about if we could use Stratton Hill?
But that,
Well, actually, isn't that adjacent to the?
it's adjacent
That actually
to-
fits the criteria. It's adjacent to the Audubon's property, right?
That's true, yeah.
Yep.
Adjacent to existing or public lands.
Go ahead, throw out another one.
Or other considered lands.
Hospital?
The hospital. The hospital. What is it? Remember,
Isn't there
airplane.
conservation land there?
The hospital. What is it? It's a building with doctors and patients, but that's not important right now.
Don't. You picked the wrong day to give up smoking.
Pick the wrong day to quit amphetamines.
Solar too would have been really nice to have,
Yeah.
because that had a path already on it.
Not bump it up against anything, though.
Bumped up to the rail trail.
But that's not conservation land.
It's public lands,
Recreational.
recreational public lands.
A type of corridor for certain mammals.
For what?
A type of corridor for certain mammals.
That's
A
true.
rail
And,
trail.
and adjacent to wetland.
Yep.
Blah blah blah. Not as good as the other one.
So projects that protect or conserve land supporting threatened or endangered animal, plant, wildlife habitat. That's a good number too, I think.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Do you want to argue that one?
No, I was just gonna say, do we have to rank them, or should we?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you need to rank them.
Yeah, sure, it should be how many of these things need, not which ones.
Okay, but
Well, that would
projects
be
with
primary
historic.
weight.
So
Yeah.
but hold on. So I understand where you're coming from, but the bottom one on the list here is projects with historic, scenic, and recreational use or access.
Yeah.
Okay, well that is swell, but it isn't nearly as important as a project that's adjacent to our existing land. That has to be the primary. Has to be the primary
Just move
to
the bullets
expand.
around. Let's just move the bullets around.
Yeah, I'd move agricultural land to the bottom because air doesn't have much.
Then move
anyway.
that top one to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because
We don't
we
have
have
it.
anything left.
Okay. So if Beth Sudemeyer was here, she'd
So what
say,
about top of
what
the
about
hill?
number 3, projects that conform to the town plan, right?
Well, and she'd be a big fan of agricultural lands too, I think.
Yeah, because
You-
like I say, top of the hill.
Wouldn't we have to make one?
Well, there's the top of the hill farm.
Top of the hill.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
top of the hill farm, yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's the
One
only
across
one
from the
that-
hospital.
Yeah.
The
I
building where there's doctors and nurses.
Oh, right, but that's not important right now.
Across the street from
Top of
it.
the hill farm, but that's
Yeah.
just haying. He just hays up there.
But it's farmland. It's agricultural.
Yeah, yeah.
It's agricultural.
Yeah.
And they might, there could be more condos going up.
I hope not.
But that one just doesn't need to necessarily be top of the list.
No, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, but I wouldn't put it down at the bottom.
Oh, so you're suggesting that the list should have an order?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't want the list to have an order because of that,
Yeah.
And also, I mean, part of the open space and rec is like, pocket parks, all right?
Mm.
It's like,
But we can't use the conservation fund for pocket parks.
it's, as long as it's not active recreation, passive, right? I thought passive recreation was
Why couldn't we
available.
use it for a pocket park?
Well, because I think of pocket parks as sort of cultivated and developed. But I think it was the limitations within
The
it's kind of
40
Open Space
40
Protection Act that, where
I don't have-
limitations within the state law.
Yeah, what is?
Yeah, I don't have the state law in front of me.
What's the definition of a pocket park?
Yeah, I was going to say, so I think it comes down to definition of pocket park. So a
Yeah.
pocket park, if a pocket park is like
Yeah.
what's the old school?
Pleasant Street School.
Pleasant Street School. So if it looked like what happened next to Pleasant Street School, then no, that doesn't make sense. That's not conserving land.
That's not conservation.
But if it was a wooded area that had a pathway through it that people could walk on and enjoy nature, I would think that would meet the
And
criteria.
it just happened to be in a neighborhood.
Right. I think all we're talking about is the definition of, is that called a pocket park? If a pocket park is a cleared area with benches and things like that, then then the answer is no. If a pocket park is 2 acres in the middle of a series of neighborhoods where people can go and meet and we protect it so that, in perpetuity, so nobody goes in there, and develops in there, then that's swell. I mean, it's not as swell as a project adjacent to existing town land or public land or conserved land, but,
Yeah, 'cause I think it was discussed at town meeting that, because I think Lori Nearing, I think, was coming up with more pocket parks, the sort of developed kind, and it was like, well, this doesn't preclude the town doing that, but that would be through the normal CPC process.
Yeah.
Not through the conservation fund.
Okay. So let's just say one more time. So here we are. Landowners have approached us and we've reviewed our list of criteria. Are we saying it's not important to put our criteria in order just to have criteria? I'm going to go around the table because this is the pitchfork time. George?
Yes.
Guess what?
It's not important.
It is not important to have the criteria in a list. It is just important to have criteria.
Yes.
Jess?
That we can discuss.
That we can review and discuss, okay?
I would agree too.
I concur.
If you're going to reach out to people, then I think you want to have things that you think are desirable. If people are coming
Thank
to
you.
you, then, no, but if people are coming to you, then it needs to be based on what they're offering.
And if they're coming to us, right, it is kind of catch as catch can. But it just feels like, I'm not suggesting that a piece of property comes in and we have a ranking system, but it does remind me of how we do our RFPs, where somebody comes to us and we say, well, this one's better than this one. And we rated it against the listed criteria. And, this one gets 8 points and this one gets 6 points. And so therefore we take the 8 points. I'm just trying to say, if you were going to go and you were going to reach out to people, we should reach out in a special order. Give us 10 more minutes. Should reach out in a special order, but the idea is that it just feels like there really should be an order. I don't know. It feels like how else do you appropriately say we thought this one was better than that one if we are ever in the position where we have to put one against another.
So we have a parcel that comes in the day after another parcel comes in, and we go down through this checklist that's not in any particular order, and one proposed parcel ticks 8 of these boxes and the other one only ticks 6 of them, but
the 6 that it ticks are the more important ones compared to the other one that ticks 8.
So if one doesn't tick the adjacency and parcel B does, without having these be weighted somehow, they don't have to be in order, but they have to have some weight to them.
It seems like
or ordered, for that matter, because that would be the weighting.
That could be.
I understand where we're all coming from. I just want to make sure that, if you're going to say that you have an evaluation criteria, they're either all equal or they're not. So if they're not all equal, then you should put them in an order.
Well, I sort of think, I defer to George, to have a I know, but to have a non-ranked evaluation criteria, it's like these are the things that are important. The body that weights them on an individual case-by-case basis are the people behind it, which would be us. I mean, it's a you want to have some objective.
You want to have some subjectivity to our objectivity?
There is subjectivity, ultimately.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
We have a public hearing, and people say, you shouldn't buy this, but you're gonna say, well, it scored, 7 out of 10, so we are gonna, it's much more subjective, I think. We should use this as just a guideline in our discussions.
So as the neighbors are standing up and they're jumping up and down because they really wanted 50 homes behind them, right? They were dying for that. And we say, well, you know what, actually, we're okay. We weren't going to buy it because, quite frankly, it doesn't meet enough of our criteria, To me, it just feels like the best way to be able to evaluate things is to have an order of importance, to say, this is the most important thing to us.
Well, I can conceive of having a list of all the criteria and just having a little caveat in parentheses that
That's waiting.
that's waiting. But
So-
it's impossible to really be able to say, you know, here are the impersonal criteria without understanding the context. And the context, the thing that brings the context together are the subjective brains of us sitting here evaluating.
Do you know why Nextel and Sprint merged?
Yeah.
Nextel and Sprint merged because AT&T and Singular had merged before, and they felt that they needed to, even though it was a terrible marriage. It was a gigantic mistake. What they needed to do is step back and say, does our technology in any way bind us so that we will make a better network? And if they had done that, they would have said no, shook hands, and walked away. Instead, what they said was, man, we just got to merge. We have an opportunity. We need to merge. We need to do it right now. So it was stupid. It was horrible. And it really set the company that came out of it back probably 5 years compared to the other vendors. So I would compare that to a piece of property that we were offered over under the power lines. That eventually became Solar One.
Mm-hmm.
We were offered that property, and the question was, what were the benefits of that property? And if you went down this list, you could probably find 4 or 5 things on here that met. But it wouldn't meet our number one criteria, which was, does it expand the lands that we have? No. Does it attach to places so that wildlife will have a habitat trail or people can have trails? No. Okay. So we didn't have an evaluation criteria at the time, but we knew it wasn't a good purchase for us, and so we didn't make it.
That was still subjective.
Yeah.
Well, it was subjective in an objective way, in that we looked at that property. It wasn't going to do much good for us. It was going to be another piece of property. We would own a piece of property. But then there was no way to enhance it or add to it. It was going to be a chunk. And a chunk under power lines, and a chunk off the rail trail. So accessibility wasn't swell either.
But I can conceive the way I envision this fund operating is that we could, you know, say we got 10 different properties come before us, including the one under the power lines, or say the only one that came before us was the one under the power lines, and say, yeah, it did on paper meet some of these criteria, but everybody knows it's not a great thing, and it's definitely going to require a phase 2 environmental review and all this other stuff. And all
Phase
sorts of
17.
problems. So it still ultimately comes down to how are each of us going to vote.
So we're going to shoot with guesswork and willy-nilly.
Well, no, in terms of, no, because
We're gonna
still.
vote from
You
the
guys
heart.
never do guess.
There we go. We're going to
guys don't
vote
do
from
that.
the heart. No, I'm willing to accept that. So evaluation criteria, we actually don't even need them
Yeah.
then.
Oh, I think it's important to have.
Yeah.
Why? We're not using them for anything.
Well, this is gonna get posted.
It's a guideline.
It's a guideline. This will get
It's a
posted on the
guideline.
town
Well, then we
website.
need to change it from criteria to evaluation guidelines, because they're not criteria. None of these are actually important.
No, they are important, they're just not,
Weighted.
Criteria.
you know.
They're not
absolute.
weighted.
They're not important in the actual decision making.
All right, so guidelines.
Guidelines, evaluation guidelines.
Well, because guesswork sounds mean.
And, you know,
It's not.
you can move the bullets around. Who's to say we can't move conserve agricultural land?
You mean weight them?
To third. It doesn't matter.
That's my point. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
It just
matter.
doesn't matter. It
Just
just
move
doesn't
them around.
matter.
So, evaluation
See,
guidelines.
This sort of started the movie.
Evaluation guidelines and roll of dice. We'll just keep it at
And the
guidelines.
benefits will have to be moved around as well.
But look at the
Yahtzee! We're buying it!
things that are not on this list. Look at the things that are not
Power lines?
property under a power line is not on this list. An abandoned gas station is not on this list. There are all kinds of things, different kinds of properties that have different values that are not on this list. This is important.
Let's just move on. Benefits.
We've got the same problem.
Move the bullets around.
All right, well, we can just skip benefits. Okay,
I think it's important to have.
so,
I would include it, yeah.
I would include it.
no, I just mean we can skip it. There's no reason to discuss it.
Right.
Okay, so the application. I see the application or request for funds should actually probably be instead application for review, because it's not really a request for funds.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's coming to us for funds.
Right, because this would go to the selectmen in Vermont.
Right? So basically, this is a request review under the Conservation Fund guidelines. And so that person, whether they come to you or they fill this out themselves, they put their information in here. They pass on the basic information about the parcel. It has the information, there might even be a discussion about confirmation that they are the person who owns it.
Yep.
Just for fun, right? And this would be the trigger that causes us to have the meeting. So owner's name, mailing address, applicant name, applicant address, phone numbers, etc. Location of land for consideration, zoning district. So we should probably change this because we're book and page,
Yeah, yep.
right? No, what do we, map and parcel?
Yeah.
Map and parcel.
I think.
So we may want to fool around with our own sheet.
Yeah.
But it basically, right, so the top part has the name, location of the land for consideration, map and parcel, size of the parcel, is it part of a larger parcel? These are all great. Can skip the parcel ID on tax bill because that'll be part of the map and page, a map and parcel. Describe, including a map. Or actually what it should probably be is attach a plan of land, which could be nothing more than a plan from the assessors, or
Parcel map.
That's the 10 minutes.
or something from
I think-
something from Google Earth.
I think this Greenbelt Land and Trust example that's
Yeah,
in
this
your
is good. There's
packet,
a lot of,
has down on the first page, the documents gathered.
yeah. Assessor
Is another,
map.
that's another thing we can look at.
And Greenbelt is Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
Who did I just have that discussion with? It's Oregon. Oregon and Colorado.
Colorado,
We pronounce them wrong here.
yeah, because we're not from there.
Can't get there from here.
Just making sure everyone's caught up.
That too.
I did have the Georgia conservation thing. You can have that.
Okay, thanks.
It's all written on.
Project identification, public documents. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay. Do you feel comfortable combining
Yeah.
the application with these items and just making a cheat sheet form?
Yep.
And for instance, outline your request, all that can be gone, benefits offered can be gone, current use of land could be kept.
Yep.
So, how is the land currently used, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really, it's that simple, so that we would come in and we would know that we were about to look at the property that's over on Smith Street and how big it is, and
Yep.
we could all begin our own research. Okay, so let's see. So we have our list of policies and procedures.
There is a front page to this Georgia thing. I hate to even say that.
Didn't we do that one?
The first page? No.
This one.
No, cover sheet.
Yeah, I marked it up. The purpose of the Conservation Fund is to conserve the lands and water within the town of Ayer. Marked it off. For use pursuant to, and this would be.
Mass General Law.
Well, also, do we need to mention the fact that do we need to mention the decision at town meeting for the establishment of the Conservation Fund?
It wouldn't hurt.
Well, because that's what we're talking about spending.
Yep.
And then administration, evaluate requests, make written, so this is what we were starting to mark up.
Okay. I didn't have any marks on.
Well,
that,
I stopped
so-
after purpose.
Okay. Oh.
So the Air Conservation Commission will evaluate requests and will evaluate requests, and you can cross all the recommendations off.
Yep.
Will evaluate requests. Ultimate responsibility for the disposition of monies from the fund will rest with the Air Conservation Commission. Proposals for use of the funds shall be submitted on the request for funds form, which we've changed to,
Request for review.
yeah, what should we call it?
Yeah, request for review. Request for, yeah.
Submitted on the request for review form to Air Conservation Commission through the agent. Organizations and agencies such as but not limited to are often available. We can cross that all off. Use of the fund include but not limited to purchase or assistance in acquiring the rights of first refusal, options to purchase, long-term leases, conservation restrictions. Okay. I would not. Is anyone interested in long-term leases? I don't see that as being a great idea for our money. Purchasing a right of first refusal, we actually already have that with 61 land. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe we leave it in there, but I don't know how interested I am in doing it.
If it meant we might be able to get Stratton Hill.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave that one in. Options to purchase. Conservation restrictions and land in fee. What's the difference between purchasing a piece of land and land in fee?
I don't know.
I'm a little irritated. It took me 13 seconds to find an option for a pavement. What does land in fee mean? In English law, a fee simple or fee simple absolute is an estate in land, a form of freehold ownership. It is a way that real estate may be owned in common law countries. So it's buying it.
It is.
Okay. We'll leave it in there. Everyone else will go, what is land in fee? Fund may be used in different ways. Technical assistance, including site work appraisals, legal assistance, and land surveys. To landowners who want to permanently protect. Okay, so here's a dangerous one. So I don't believe that the intent of the fund was to put money aside so that we could spend it to help landowners who want to permanently protect their land. It was for us to buy land or permanently protect land.
Well, unless we can buy development rights or a CR or that serves our goal as well as the owner's goal. The land stays in private ownership but is conserved.
Right. So, well, then the interesting question will be who gets the tax benefit.
Right.
So, the CR, we did a CR for Orion property just past the farm. And the landowner who got it, he did it because there was a point where the state government was offering bigger incentives to put your land in the CR. And so that's what he did. I guess I don't know. Is anyone comfortable with the idea that we do the work so that somebody can put something in a CR? I guess I'm not sure. That does seem beneficial. Maybe it is beneficial in the fact that you spend some money to get a bigger benefit.
Exactly.
But if you're gonna put it in CR anyway.
Yeah, but maybe they say, well, I wasn't going to put it in a CR because I can't afford the survey and the other work.
Oh, okay.
But don't they have to hire the attorney anyway? Wasn't there a whole pile of CR paperwork for that? Look at what they went through over at Ranger Development. Wasn't that the CR that they came back to us and said the town didn't act on this and we don't know why? Right? Am I high?
What about AJ?
Yeah, AJ hired the attorney, went through all that.
But see that, I wouldn't want a conservation fund to be used for cases like that, where they're already having like the states requiring conservation restrictions.
Oh yeah, no. No, it would be something more like,
Yeah.
I'm this property,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily want to sell it,
Okay.
but I do want to put it in a CR. Can the town help me?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm wondering, is that really the best use of our money?
Right.
I think so.
If only we had a weighted criteria. So,
It's a way to make our money go much farther.
Not Bill.
I don't ever forget. Not the good stuff, just the bad stuff.
Look at Autumn Ridge.
When he doesn't get his way.
Yeah. Right? We don't need to own it. We really just want it conserved.
He sent the stewardship report last week, and
Oh, that's nice.
he's seeing us on March 8th.
Okay.
And you gotta remember, this, I mean, this can be changed. It doesn't have to go to town meeting to get changed, does it?
Oh no, once we do this, we have to put it down and put it away. Because trust me, otherwise these meetings will just happen perpetually as we argue over, this is ultimate responsibility. Do we really want it to be ultimate responsibility? And George will be penultimate responsibility. And then it just be bargain. Okay. Technical assistance, including site work appraisals, legal assistance, and land surveys to landowners who want to permanently protect natural, scenic, or recreational resources. I don't think that's important to the town of Ayer. I don't think that's a bad thing to say because, again, this is telling people what the uses of the fund are for. So if somebody comes to us, we can always say, no. Funds to these,
Joanne already mentioned it.
Okay. To provide local matching funds as required for leveraging of private state grants. Sure. To purchase resource lands or conservation easements in air-only projects in cooperation. Okay, so I love the second one. Cross off the for example. To purchase resource lands or conservation easements in the town of Ayer. Okay. So, we have a good solid rough draft.
Yeah.
We have a request for review application that allows us to formalize the process. There may be some items from the land transaction procedures in the Greenbelt Land Trust that we add to our application. And I like the way we kept it open. So we talked about, what we do, short and simple, 5 bullet points. You submit it, we look at it, we come up with a price, have a couple public hearings, boom.
Yeah.
These folks at the Greenbelt Land Trust, and I always know Jess is being super quiet when she knows we went past 10 and she doesn't want me to remember it. So according to this, they're like, staff develops project evaluation, input on quality and importance, public purpose tests, conservation values, threats relative to, priorities. So you can see where this would turn into a full-scale disaster.
Nightmare.
Review of weighted environment. No, that's not right. Termination. They've got. Look at this. Staff reviews, lands committee chair and staff review. Committee recommends. Executive director takes recommendations. No.
Red tape.
No.
Yeah.
The buck stops here.
No, I like Vermont's approach.
So I have a question. So property, do you send notices to adjacent property owners, or is that part of the notice?
Yeah, we would notice it publicly. We don't need to do a mailing.
Yeah.
I don't know that it hurts us, if we ended up doing a mailing, but
Well, I mean, on the other hand, you could say if the town's interested, if the parcel comes up and meets a lot of the unweighted criteria.
Sure.
And it looks like a promise, and it's a desirable property, say, coal replacing was one example. I don't think the town has to go out of its way to notify abutters that, hey, here's a purchase thing that they start entering into competition with the town on. The town's cutting off its nose right at face. I think just doing a public hearing notice is
Yeah,
sufficient.
is it sufficient?
We don't have to go out and really dig up competition to bid against it.
So I think that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna, although of course if we've already agreed upon a price, I guess the only other thought is then leveraging that, and going back to town meeting and saying, hey, here's what happened. You gave us the money, we created a set of requirements and rules and regulations. We followed those rules and regulations, we heard and held public hearings, and we made these purchases this year, and by gum, we'd like to put that money back in. This system works, this process works. We're protecting lands in the town of Ayer. And then somebody stands up and says, I live right next to that property, I didn't know it was happening, I didn't get a letter in the mail. You need to be a Philadelphia lawyer to find that kind of thing. So do you want that?
I think you're-
These are all real life examples of crap that happened to us.
I do know who said that.
I think you're always gonna have that element, you can't avoid it.
Yeah, and both of them will be at the meeting.
Right,
That's
but I think in the issue of, you know, the limited land options for purchase, I just don't think we have to go seeking out more competition than necessary. That's my opinion. George?
Just stuck up for you, so you gotta stick up for her.
Come on, George. Against transparency. Against transparency.
But it is transparent, you know?
Yeah.
Except if they don't read the newspaper or get the note.
It's on the website too.
It's on the website.
It's on the Facebook page.
We have Facebook?
Yeah. It's called Town of Ayer.
I do know, I had heard with one missed opportunity that a rumor circulated that the town wanted something for, say, creating a dock on Sandy Pond, and that was a factor in somebody else outbidding the town on that.
Yep, I heard that too.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? So did the town try to buy a piece of property?
Yeah.
The town who?
No, but we did,
Okay.
yeah.
No, we never tried to bid money on that property because he wouldn't tell us how much he wanted for it.
No, we made it. We did.
We did?
Not us directly.
Yeah.
The
Town did.
Okay, I don't remember. We
But I think what happened was, I think it took too long.
We waited a year and change for the answer to the primary question, what about the access?
Right.
To this day, I wouldn't be surprised if AG gets all done building all that stuff and a gate goes up with a little man in a toll booth and he says, dude, it's an easement. Do you want to cross it? Look on the map. He doesn't own the access to his property. Doesn't own it. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not telling you, but no, but we did eventually get something from the town council. It did take too long, and I was absolutely aggravated by that too.
And what did town council say?
That they thought it was okay.
The way that I read what town council said, town council vacillated and basically said, it should be okay.
It should, yeah.
It should be all right.
Right.
Which is the way you usually engineer a roof or plan a building. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay.
No, I agree with you, there were other wheels in motion
Yeah.
that maybe wouldn't have been in motion.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why certain things happen in executive session if revelation of that information would be detrimental to the town, say, seeking purchase. It's in executive session until after.
Well,
something's completed.
interestingly,
But-
can we negotiate in executive session? Excuse me, executive session? For some reason I thought we can't. So
We can just discuss negotiating strategy.
okay.
Oh, what are we seeing pictures of?
Okay. It is 10:15.
Yeah.
Is there anything crucial?
Where's that?
Well,
Oh, I know what that is.
I know what it is. Where is it?
where do you think?
Pleasant
Oh,
Street?
no.
Nashua Street.
Pleasant or Nashua?
On the new property there off Trevor Trail. That
Jonathan Drive. This is Jonathan Drive.
Oh.
Jonathan Drive.
Jonathan?
what?
Yep.
What? Wait, what? That wasn't there when we walked the property.
The sewer ejector pump? That's what that is.
Where the fuck is it on Jonathan Drive?
If you're looking at the house, you can.
This is on the right?
It's on the right in the back corner.
We absolutely did not walk over there and look at this.
Is that on the plan?
I don't know if it's on the plan.
On the plan, it was in the front of the house.
This is toilet paper.
No, I get what it is. No, I get what it is, but if I remember correctly, if this is that lot, right?
I thought it was snow.
So if this is the lot and this is the house, okay?
Yeah.
And here's that area that we had all the consternation about,
Yeah.
and here's the area next to the wetland that we had the consternation
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
right? That's anything that happened that was supposed to be in the front. I'd swear on the plan it was in the front.
I'll have to look at the plan.
And you had the rain garden in the back. Why would there be a sewer ejector pump here? The sewer's in the front of the house.
I don't know, but
So this is by the rail trail? Closer to the rail trail?
closer to the rail trail than it is to the street.
So is the house closed down now?
The only thing I could do was send her a letter. I went to.
Oh no, this is Charlie stuff.
Oh no.
The house is uninhabitable.
I went to DPW.
Yeah.
I left here and drove to DPW. Mark said, you have to tell her to call the number on there's a little phone number tag right here. Because this company, E1, maintains these things.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I called Bridget. She said, this isn't really a Board of Health thing. I said, okay. She said, if it was a septic system, but it's not. And I said, okay.
Wait. What's the difference between a septic system leaking raw sewage on the ground and this pump leaking raw sewage on the ground?
That's what she said.
So she was wrong. What else?
Then you would think, for all the contact we had with all the people about this, that I would have remembered Joan's last name.
I wouldn't think that.
I would have a cell phone number or an email for her. Nothing.
All right.
So I went to the assessor and got her last name and sent her a letter saying, this is what I saw, and you have to call the phone number on this is very bad.
So I don't even understand why she needed something like this.
Because the sewer is probably up above where she is. And so this is basically, it's a grinder pump force main that the sewer from her house comes down into a tank, and when it reaches a certain point, the pump grinds it and forces it through a pipe that goes up the hill and then dumps down into a sewer. Or the sewer main in front of her house is high, and so it has to pump up to get into a sewer connection to go down.
So her sewer has to pump up.
Her sewer has to pump
To
up
get
in
to the
some way,
main.
shape, or form to get to a main at some
So
spot.
that's the pump.
That's the pump.
That forces it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So in front of my old house, there's a tank in the ground, a significant tank, like a week's worth of house tank. And that has a grinder pump in it. And that pumps up, and it goes up through a pipe that goes out to the main road, because the way that the house is situated, the house is like 2 feet below the sewer main. So we ended up with a grinder pump, which we've replaced like 3 times. So much fun. Now, this makes no sense to me. So it is okay to dump raw effluent in a yard, according to the Board of Health? I'd really like to get that in writing.
Well, I can circle back on that.
I'd like to understand, can someone define for me why it's okay, so it is now okay in the town of Ayer for people to dump their waste in their yard? That's what Bridget told you.
So basically, just tell Bridget, Conservation Commission wants that opinion in writing from her. People change their
Tone.
Yeah,
Tone.
and I would like to hear Charlie's opinion, because Charlie, as a building inspector, issues an occupancy permit to a house that, if that leaks, is now inoccupable.
I showed this to Charlie today.
And?
he was like, aghast, but didn't offer any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you a good one then. Why don't you write up the enforcement order tomorrow that she can no longer operate her sewage system because right now her sewage system within 100 feet of the wetland is contributing effluent directly into the wetland.
So I wonder if this is within 100 feet. This is on the right back hand.
The whole lot's within the 100-foot buffer.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So do enforcement order.
Yeah, and then go to Charlie because I don't understand how she can live there if this is happening. And I don't want this to be a problem for her, but I'm really apoplectic that the people who should care about this the most, the Board of Health, how was this not the thing that she dropped everything to figure out?
Well, and I was a little surprised the DPW didn't have more of a reaction. Just think if I hadn't gone to check on the rain garden, and I almost didn't walk out of her yard that way. I almost just went back down the other side of the house.
I don't remember seeing that day.
No, I don't either.
I walked in that
We would have
backyard.
seen that.
I walked in that backyard.
You would have seen that.
Because I walked around to look at the line. Remember where we were trying to figure out how far back it was? We were trying. Did they clear properly? Did they not clear as much as they said they were? We were trying to understand.
How would that have appeared after our site visit?
Because it wasn't done.
Well, the grass was also probably as tall as this thing, and it's green. I honestly don't remember if it was there or not. I'll have to go back and look at the old pictures.
I just don't even remember seeing it.
Yeah. Well, so that was fun. This is the groundwater on Trevor Trail. Notice that it's water on top of the ground.
Sure.
The trench is full of ice. There's all kinds of junk getting down below, but it's only going that far. This is near the bottom of Pleasant Street Extension.
Yeah.
Where everything else was completely frozen that day, except this water was running nice and.
Wait, that's Pleasant
liquid.
Street Extension, or
Yeah.
Yeah, not.
Pleasant.
Yes, yeah, Pleasant, not the Neshoba.
Nashua.
Nashua, yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasant, right.
So moving water,
Moving water. There's still water coming out of the ground next to the lowest
Oh,
sewer
so
manhole.
on that, Joanne hasn't had any success with hearing from Mark that he sent that memo.
Yeah, I saw you had a
Oh.
note in here that he remembered he owed it to you, but he hasn't sent it yet.
Well, we talked about that this week, and they may have already closed on the Nashua Street lots and are getting ready to close on some of these. And he realized it really wouldn't do any good to send the letter to CJ, but sending the letter to the guy who's going to be building here was more.
Who owns the property?
Right now, CJ.
And
owns
I'd say it's
this one.
CJ's problem.
But CJ's not going to build. CJ's just selling the lot.
Today, CJ has a pipe that is dumping water into the town of Ayer's sewage system, which is groundwater.
I think they fixed that. This water is just coming up out of the ground. There's no more water just running into the sewer pipes from the ground. This is just water running down the trench.
And coming out at the wetland.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's an enforcement order.
Well, this goes all the way around. Nothing's getting into the wetland. The controls are really robust.
All right.
But boy, it was cold over there that morning, and the water coming out of the ground is 50 degrees probably.
Should go look at it on Monday.
Water's coming out of the ground.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a great sign if you were planning to have a basement down there. So where's that clearing?
Oh God, this is Pingree Hill. See
What?
See these controls?
Wait, no, wait. What? Why, what? Where is there clearing at Pingree Hill?
This is...
Is this over by the,
Hemlock. This is a little cul-de-sac just before Woodland Way.
so we weren't down here?
No, we were not down here.
Doesn't look like anywhere we were.
But see this?
Yeah.
I don't think that's supposed to look like that.
No. Not unless you were burying it to put over a pipe so you'd find it.
This is the very end of that little cul-de-sac where the controls were buried, so they put this load of stone dust here.
Yeah, made themselves a nice compact berm.
Yeah,
Pretty.
yeah. But I have no idea how this clearing reflects what is written on the plan.
Well, I guess the only thing you can do is dig back in because there were sections that were non-jurisdictional.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to go backwards now.
Right, and I still gotta get a boy. No, I gotta go.
One quick question, what's happening on the RFP for the ponds?
Oh, I found 4 different places to send it.
Great.
I feel like a superhero. And I got a note back from somebody who's sort of the guru of lake management, Ken, whose last name I won't remember, saying, yeah, there really aren't very many places you can send this.
Right.
So we have that in writing from him.
And we have 4 of them.
I don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah, we're gonna, I've sent it to 4, I don't have any back yet.
Right. Okay, when is it due?
22nd or 20th of the month? 20th?
Are you starting your car?
Yeah, because I am now over a half hour late to get my son, which I forgot about. So, anything else?
Not that we can't do another time.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.